Yes, indeed. Yep. We have the beautiful Arnell here from New Orleans, Louisiana. Hey, ladies. Always looking good and interesting. We got my brother More Power here from San Francisco. We got Fresno in the building. We got the very interesting West V in the building. Hi, West V. Looking beautiful. I'm representing Chicago. Shout out to everybody on YouTube from the rack. All my people at Twitch. All my people over there on Facebook. Milwaukee's in the building. Yeah, Milwaukee. Born Wisdom Allah. I heard that. That's powerful. Oh, so here we go. It was not one thing, it's another. This is a little crazy. I wasn't expecting to be talking about Fat Joe. That's a little crazy. I tell you. But I talk about what I find interesting or irritating, one or the other. Something that stimulates conversation. Fat Joe, I just don't know. I don't know what's up with Fat Joe. I remember meeting Fat Joe at a show here in Chicago. And, I was like, I can't say I was I was a supporter of Fat Joe when he first came out. You got to flow, Joe. You got to. So I used to watch that video. I thought the video was fire. But he didn't keep coming with no music that was interesting. So many good rappers started coming, so he kind of faded out. But once you like a couple songs of an artist, you check for him. And he would be on shows when I would go see shows. But he wasn't like my favorite. He wasn't top on the list. You know what I mean? When I think about hip hop, because it just, me, I was really into group home. I was into the Boys, the Lost Boys, group home, Mob Deep. I was heavy West Coast. So I was kind of partial, you know. I was kind of like, not really vibing with the East Coast because of the whole Tupac Biggie thing when it got to that point. But, it was just artists over there I liked. And you just can't unlike nobody just because Pac and Biggie is beefing. So, I still like Mobb Deep. You know what I mean? I wanted to not like them, but I liked them. Hey, man, Prodigy was one of my favorites ever. Mobb Deep was one of my favorites. I ain't gonna lie. Mobb Deep is underrated. You know what I'm saying? Mobb Deep. Mobb Deep is underrated. Mobb Deep was fire. You know what I'm saying? If I had to choose to go see Wu-Tang Clan or Mobb Deep, I would have go see Mobb Deep. I loved NWA, but I think if I had to choose to go see NWA or Mobb Deep, I probably would have went to see Mobb Deep. Early when NWA came out, I would have went to see it, but when Mobb Deep was really, man, you know what I'm saying? I would just have that in my car. It's like the music, like, man, you know what I'm saying? Havoc, man, is one of the best hip hop produced. He don't get no props. You know what I'm saying? He just, man, I'd be in my car, put on, I'd be like, doom, doom, dun, 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 doom, doom. I'd be in the crib, I'd be in the car like, oh, I got your stuff off the realness. We be the infamous, you heard of us, original. I'd be going crazy. It's like the beats, the lyrics. H&IC. I wish I had my CD collection. I hate talking about music because my CD collection was so thorough. I had Prodigy solo project H&IC. Big L, I wasn't in the Big L because he was gone too early. So I wasn't in the Big L. I wasn't banging no Big L. Big L was dead already. So I wasn't banging no Big L. If you couldn't get in the CD changer, you know, you basically didn't exist like that. So Big L was not being banked. Big L was not being played because he didn't have no CDs. He didn't have no CDs. He wasn't alive, so he wasn't on Rap City. He wasn't on Your MTV Rap. So we knew he could rap, but he wasn't being discussed like that. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Big L was cold, but Big L was the kind of artist that when we hear him, we was wishing he was still alive so we could have heard him as much as we heard Mobb Deep. That's Big L. Okay? Big L was the kind of artist that we wish we could have heard, but he was gone. Because a lot of people don't know that Big L was big in New York. By the time he really got popular to us all the way in Chicago and in LA, he was already gone. So his popularity outside of New York came after he was gone. So by the time we was hearing Big L, he was gone already. For real. So he wasn't getting, you know, he was gone already. You know what I'm saying? He was gone already. So it was something like we wished, we was wishing, like, you know what I mean? Because we was on Nas. We was on Nasty Nas, not the other Nas. We was on Nasty Nas with the razor blade in his mouth walking down in New York. He was another one that, I wanted to ride with Snoop and them, but I liked the Nas, and I liked Mobb Deep, and I liked Group Home, and I liked the Lost Boys. So, I couldn't hate on nobody but Biggie and Puff, and I liked Biggie. So, that East Coast, West Coast thing, Pac was my favorite. So that was really hard. That was a lot of turmoil for us hip-hop supporters. That was a lot, especially being in Chicago. We ain't on the East Coast. We ain't on the West Coast. So we going by our favorite artists. And me, I got the dreadlocks. I'm a little revolutionary. So I'm like revolutionary. But I had got stabbed, so I was in the streets. But, once a revolutionary, you just be in the streets, but you still had that. So, Tupac had all of that. You know what I'm saying? Because Tupac, I had a connection to Tupac because I picked Tupac early. I picked Tupac early. And I'll talk about that while everybody come in, hit the like button. Get those likes up. My likes be too low. Share, subscribe, and contribute to the channel too. I don't be getting the contribution like I'm supposed to be getting. I don't be getting the likes. I don't know why everybody be watching. I don't be hitting the like button. But I had a personal connection to Tupac, and I'm going to tell that story. So I was living in L.A., and they had these new phones came out. They had the speed dial, right? So I had the speed dial button. So I used to listen to these radio stations, and they would have these contests, and they say like the seventh call, and I hit it, and they'd be like, you call it number 2, and I hang up and hit it. It'd be like, you call number 5, I hang up and hit it. Boom, you call it number 7, and I would win because I was cheating. I had the speed dial. So one time I won, They said, you won this album and some tickets to a show to this new group called Digital Underground. So I went and got the album and stuff, and they had Do the Humpty Hump and all that, right? So I was messing with Digital Underground. So once I had found out about Digital Underground while they was blowing up, when they blew up, I started watching them, right? Tupac and R. Kelly is two artists I picked. That's what made me go in the music business. So one day I'm watching a Digital Underground video, and they doing All Around the World, sang song. And they came out and they had this brother sitting on this throne like thing that was carrying them, and they're clowning around when I'm underground. And I said, who is that? You know what I'm saying? I was like, who? And it was Pac, right? So I was like, who is that? I'm like, he cold. Just that one verse, I said, who is that? Who is that? I still remember before he was anybody, I picked him early. Who is that? And so when he went solo, I was like, I knew it. I knew dude was cold. Same with R. Kelly. R. Kelly was with a group. It was four of them. And he had a song, Why You Trying to Play Me Like a Fool. And I seen him out of the group. I said, who is that? It was Kels. You know what I mean? So I seen Tupac, and then he came out. Like I said, he was touching the streets. He was touching that revolutionary side of me. So off the top, he became one of my favorites. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Because he was like, dun, 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 dun. Nah, you can't keep the black man down. Trap. And I was it. I was in. When he came out with Trap. You can't keep the black man down. That's still what that's hey, some revolutionary stuff. I was kind of like a young revolutionary myself. You know what I'm saying? This is before I got stabbed, so I was super revolutionary. I hadn't turned into no demon yet. So I was on that super revolutionary stuff. You feel me? So I had a connection with Tupac. You know what I'm saying? I had a connection with Tupac, and I'm gonna do some talking about the whole rap music and that whole thing. We're gonna talk about that. You know what I'm saying? But I had a connection to Tupac. You know what I'm saying? Because I was like a young revolutionary, and he like, you can't keep the black man down. And I was really with that. You know what I'm saying? I was really with that. You know what I'm saying? Because I was a militant, you know what I'm saying? So I was really with that. You know what I'm saying? Don't he look like he would love militant Tupac? You can see, man, militant Tupac, yeah, let's do it. Yeah. So I love Tupac. And then Biggie. So I never do best rappers. I always do because I got them in categories. So I don't really compete. I don't believe they compete against each other. I got them in categories. So I got all the rappers in a category. You know, I got Biggie in the category. I got Pac in the category like that. So I have Biggie. I got a lot of best, but they're different best. Because I don't believe they could be compared. You know what I'm saying? And I think there need to be categories when you start talking compare rappers. First off, if you're going to be honest about the greatness of rap, you got to get at the LL Cool J. I never liked the way they keep trying to push Run DMC. Run DMC did not pop rap off for the black community. They popped it off for MTV and a mixed audience of people that like rock and roll, right? But that's false the way they be doing Run DMC. Run DMC was not it. They was all right, but they are not the kings of rap. The king of rap is LL Cool J. Period. Without LL Cool J, it would have took a while. He the one pop rap off. He the one touched the hood. In the hood, like Chicago, Chicago's extra black. So, we wasn't with that. Walk this way, talk this way. Because I'm going to be honest with you, that group, because I went to rock shows. I was in the rock. And that group wasn't nothing. The group he did that song with, they wasn't nobody in rock. They was the era when rock turned to trash. What's the name of that group he did that song with? They was nobody. Seriously. They was when rock fell off. They was the trash part of rock. They was the trash. I'm telling you, I was there. They was the trash. Aerosmith was when rock fell off. Yeah, Aerosmith was trash. They was nobody. For all those people that was there with rock when rock blew up, they came when rock fell off. Because when rock blew up, it's Led Zeppelin, it's Black Sabbath. They was the ones running it. That was rock and roll. And all them Kiss and all them, that was when it fell off. Kiss and all them, that was trash. They couldn't hang with no Black Sabbath. They couldn't hang with no Pink Floyd. They couldn't hang with nobody. They couldn't hang with Led Zeppelin. Led Zeppelin would have blew them off the stage. Led Zeppelin would have blew Aerosmith off the whole stage. Feel me? Real talk. So that's when it fell off. That's when it fell off. So all those black folks that like rock, when they came, we switched over to the Ohio Players, Isaac Hayes, and all that. You know what I'm saying? Because that's when rock got all feminine. They dressing like girls and all that. Mind you, I seen Black Sabbath, I seen Pink Floyd, I seen Led Zeppelin. You know what I'm saying? This big Pharaoh for real. Hey, y'all, me and 2 or 3 of my homies would be at rock concerts and we'd be the only blacks there. On my soul. And we like freshmen or sophomores. And we had a concert with thousands of white people with us. And did nobody play with us. We were standing on business too. What's wrong with us? I swear to God, we was up in there. Like how when you get blacks and whites, you get mixed. A lot of times you get these blacks and they go to school with whites or they go to concerts and then they start kind of acting like a mixed type vibe. So they don't really be acting like black like in the hood. They be acting like, like a private school blacks. Nah, we was still like hood out. We never turned to Jolly G Willikers. And imagine that. We had all them rock shows, but we still like this. You know what I mean? Yeah, Queen and all them was trash. The Fire was back, Emerson, Lake and Palmer. And now that's the Fire. That's when it was popping. So we didn't even like that music. That wasn't even no good rock music. So, we wasn't feeling them. But the person that really created, the person that birthed everybody in rap is LL Cool J. LL Cool J was the one everybody copied. LL Cool J birthed Tupac, Biggie, Cool G Rap, all of them. LL Cool J, because LL Cool J came as the young dude, stepped on Cool Mo D. You know what I'm saying? You understand? For real. So when you see who made the first rap ballad, LL Cool J. I Need Love. That was the first rap ballad ever. Everybody that started making records to the ladies, OLL. He's the king of rap, not Run. Run DMC. DMC and Run was nothing. Jam Master Jay was the man, but he didn't rap. They was doing Jam Master Jay. Now that's the man. But Run and DMC, they was copying Jam Master Jay. They didn't dress like, you could see Run was a weirdo. Still now, you can see he's an overweight weirdo. He ain't standing on that image at all. And DMC, I don't want to diss the brother. I met him. He was a nice brother. But that was Jam Master Jay creativity. But he didn't rap. If he would have rapped, then they would have really, you know what I'm saying? But they was with that weirdo Russell Simmons and the producer guy. They put all the rock in it, a guy with all that hair on his face, Go sit down. You know what I mean? Because he sold them out. Because MTV was prejudiced, and MTV wouldn't show black artists unless you was Michael Jackson or Anita Baker or Whitney Houston. So what he did, he took them and he made them all like European so they can get on MTV. LL Cool J got on there just from the hood. You know what I'm saying? He's the number one as far as rap. He's the king of rap. He's the king. Who's old enough to remember? Remember LL Cool J on Apollo? Ah, what a disaster. LL Cool J was on Apollo. I Need Love. Killing it. And he made one mistake. He told the ladies, come on, get on the stage. And they almost knocked him down. He had to run. It was like the Beatles, the way they used to chase the Beatles. Man, he told them ladies to get on the stage at the Apollo, and they attacked him. And he was still trying to rap, and I'm moving my mouth. He was running for his life, man. And they was at him. Yeah, that was classic. So that's how you know I really know the music, because I seen LL Cool J almost get knocked down by about 100 ladies. When he said get on stage, he didn't know everybody was going to jump up there, and he had to run. He was still trying to rap though, but they almost got him. He was this close to getting tackled. That was class. That's a class. Boy, somebody need to go show them classic moments like that. Yeah, LL told them ladies to get on stage and never did that. Because back in them days, Michael Jackson and all them, they had to run. Because that back then, fans would, the lady fans was crazy. He told them to get on stage, man. I was messed up. I got Biggie is the most memorable rapper. I can't put Biggie as no greatest. He ain't got enough records. People be talking crazy, but you got to live to be the greatest. You can't just drop one album and then get killed and then drop another album be the greatest. You got to put some work in there. So he ain't the greatest, but he's the most memorable. Biggie Smalls is, man, that dude has some magic. Biggie Smalls the only rapper that I know ever that you can listen to his song one time and know the lyrics. I don't know how the hell he did it. You can remember Biggie's lyrics easier than any other rapper. You got to study Tupac's lyrics. You got to study Nas' lyrics. You got to study it. But Biggie's lyrics, you hear them one time and you know the song. That's crazy. Boy, he was cold. I'm like, how the heck do I know this song? How do I know this song? You hear it one time. So I got him as the most memorable. I got LL as the king. I got Tupac as the best all around because he's the most versatile. But we're going to talk about that another time. We're going to talk about Fat Joe. Rest in peace to Big Pun. I seen Big Pun. Oh God, I got a video. I got some cassette tapes with Big Pun at the radio station. And I got to get those cassettes. And I got to get Big Pun off of there and put it and get it so people can hear him freestyling at the radio station in Chicago. Also, rest in peace to Pink House. Rest in peace to my brother Pink House, who's really a king of hip hop as far as DJing. My brother Pink House. Yeah, my brother Pink House, man. Man, rest in peace to Pink House, man. Man, Pink House used to come on at night in Chicago and play the stuff nobody else play. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Pink House. He was the man. Because, they wasn't trying to, he would play the rap that the radio don't play. You know what I'm saying? So you see, I really do music. I'm not just hip hop. I'm the whole music. The whole music, like aficionado. Pink House. I'll be liking. That's what I like about these lives. I be immortalizing people. So I'm finna immortalize Pink House over here right quick. Everybody in Chicago, if you're old enough, you remember Pink House. Rest in peace to Pink House. He come on the radio at night. And Pink House was the one in Chicago that's playing like E40 and the Click. Stuff that the radio not playing. He come on at night, he playing E40 and the Click. He playing a lot of artists that nobody's playing. Pink House was playing them. Stuff that wasn't even radio like that. He playing the Ghetto Boys before they get on. He playing stuff from Suave House. He playing 8-Ball and MJG. He playing people before they you know what I'm saying, on the radio, and it ain't mainstream. Real talk. And he had Big Pun on the freestyling. When Big Pun came to Chicago, one of the greatest rap shows I ever seen. Big Pun, E40 and the Click, because E40 and the Click was raw, because what is D-Lo and D-Shot and the other one. Them bros could rap, but they ain't getting no props. They could rap. That whole clique could rap. Sugar T, they could rap. All of them. That show had the stars of the show was 8 Ball and MJG after they had that second and third album. Oh man, 8 Ball and MJG, Big Pun, E40 and the Click, Crucial Conflict, who had just came out. And they came out first. And man, at the Regal Theater on Saturday night, when they came out there, tonight is the night that we ride the rodeo. Oochie coochie everything. Man, they was going crazy. I had spent a lot of money. I took all my youngins, my stepchildren, my children, my wife at the time, her nieces and nephew. I don't know how many people I took. My father's best friend's son, Keith, that I grew up with. I don't know how many people I took. I took a whole squad of people to the show. Took them, bought them all brand new Jordans, except Keith he couldn't find. I bought him Scottie Pippens. The Pippens cost more than the Jordans. The Jordans was 100 some. His shoes was 210, 215 or something. And he went out that night after the show and sold them. I'm going to talk about that when my book comes out. So I had them all in there. They had on their Bulls. They had on their fresh Jordans. I took all of them to the Regal to see that show. What a show. Oh, my God. And Big Pun was at that show. Big Pun. But no matter how good E4 and the Click was, no matter how good Big Pun was, no matter how good Crucial Conflict was, when 8 Ball and MJG, who was the headliners, hit that stage, I thought the whole roof was going to come off the place because those two albums is two of the best albums ever made in hip-hop. They second and they third album. 8 Ball. See, these brothers don't be getting their props. 8 Ball and MJG, two albums, especially the third one, can compete with any album anybody made in rap. I don't care if it's NWA. I don't care if it's the Ghetto Boys. I don't care who it is. That third album, the second one was fire too, but that third one, 8 Ball and MJG, is one of the best hip-hop albums ever made. Could easily go in the top 5. Easily. It was fire. Whoa. Don't be getting no props because they from Memphis and stuff like that. You know, the gang was hating. You know what I'm saying? They ain't from the big city. They hate, they hating on the homies. You know what I mean? They was, man, woo, that show was crazy. Right? And I seen Big Pun, so, you know what I'm saying? Coming Out Hard. That's the third album. Let me see. Let me see. Yep. It's the second album. It's the second album. You're right. The first album and the second album. On Top of the World and Coming Out Hard. You're right. It's not the second and third album. It's the first and second album. The first album is fire. The second album is crazy. Coming Out Hard. I wish I had my CDs or I get sick. I hate talking about this because I had all these CDs. Coming Out Hard is one of the best rap albums ever made. Ever. It's one of the best sonic lyrics. It's one of the best albums ever made. Point blank, period. Point blank, period. It's one of the best albums ever made. One of the best albums ever made. Ever. Biggie Smalls does not have an album as good as that album. And Tupac only got an album better than that because there's some double albums. Ain't no single album Tupac got better than that album. I'll stand on that. I'll stand on that. Some of your biggest rappers ain't got no album that good. I'm telling you. That album, that is a whole album. On the Outside Looking In is the second album. I just looked up their discography. No, on the Outside Looking, okay. Right. They ain't got them in order. Right. On the Outside Looking In. So it might be on the Outside Looking In is the other good one. They don't got, why they don't got these like, man, these people slow. Y'all look at this. Look at this. They don't do none professional no more. Y'all notice that? Ain't nobody professional. Now, why would you line these albums up like this? Why would you have 1995 before 1993? So On Top of the World is the one I'm talking about. Coming Out Hard. It's either it's On Top of the World and On the Outside Looking In, I think. Those are the two. On Top of the World was good, and On the Outside Looking In was crazy. I think those are the two. Coming Out Hard was when they just came out. That wasn't as good as On the Outside Looking In. And On Top of the World was the one. On Top of the World was the one. On the Outside Looking In was real good too. And Coming Out Hard was when they was just coming out. It wasn't as good as the one in 1994 or the one in 1995 when they knocked it out the park. And that's the show we went to after they dropped the one in 1995. But look how they got this stuff lined up. Look, they got Listen to the Lyrics, 1991. They got it down the bottom. They got In Our Lifetime, 99. Why they ain't line them up? You see what I'm talking about? Why would you not line these up according to the date? I'm just looking at them thinking they got them in order. Look at this. Look at say 1995, then 1993, then 2007, then 2004, then 1994, then 2000, then 1999. Then in 1991, way down. What the? Nobody ain't professional no more, y'all. Nobody ain't professional no more. I can't say they messing with Pac. I just said the album is better than any of Pac's solo albums. That third album is better than any of Tupac's solo albums except the double album. But I'm not saying they better than him rapping. I'm talking about the albums, okay? The albums. You understand? See, Jeff, I didn't say nobody was messing with Tupac. See, people got low comprehension. I didn't say they was better than albums. I said that album is better than any album Tupac got except the double album. That's what I said. Song for song, Tupac album cannot mess with that album. Because now you want to argue Tupac. I never said Tupac, bro. See, Jeff, step your comprehension up. I said the album. I didn't say they was better than Tupac. I said the album versus the album. You see how brothers don't be listening? You know what I'm saying? He ain't listening. All he hears Tupac. He ain't hearing nothing I'm saying. And he don't know A-Ball, MJG. He don't know these albums either. He don't know these albums. That man don't know nothing about them albums. He just arguing. He don't even know what I'm talking about. You know, see, brothers just be argumentative. Okay, Jeff, that's cool. No, I didn't say Ben Tupac. I already said Tupac was the greatest. I started the conversation. I said Tupac is the greatest. But I was just showing how dudes be having masterpieces and they don't be getting no respect, Jeff. That's what I was talking about. Because you can have an album. You're from Memphis, but how old are you? Well, how old are you? How old was you? How was you in 1991 and 95? How was you in 1995? What year you was born, Jeff? What year you was born? Because you would still have to be old enough to really know what you're listening to. You 48? You was born what year? If he 48, what year he was born, y'all? What year he was born? If he 48. You were born 1976, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91. No, you wouldn't know. You was a teenager. Yeah, you wouldn't know. You was a teenager. You wasn't no musical professional. Let's take a break. Yeah, you was a teenager. You was one of the people I would have took to the show. You wasn't me. See, I was the adult, took them to the show. Nobody I took to the show would know as much about the music as me. So you was a baby. There's albums that are better than some of the albums, right? Oh, you can know a lot of people. I knew you can know a lot of people. I knew jazz musicians was older than me, but that don't mean nothing because you know them. That don't mean nothing. When them albums came out, you wasn't old enough to judge them against other albums. You was a teenager. We talking about albums. We ain't talking about who you know. We ain't talking about who you know. We talking about the albums. At the time them albums came out and during that whole period in rap, that album was one of the best albums in rap. There's a lot of albums that, okay, let's put it like this. Let's say you're a big artist and you drop an album and you got a song that's a big hit. Then you got a song that's pretty good, and then another pretty good, and another big hit, and a song that's good, and another big hit, right? And it's up here. But let's say A-Ball and MJG drop an album, and no song is up here, but all the songs is right here. And your songs is there. their album gonna be better than yours because it's fire all the way through. They might not got that big hit, but they got no fillers. And these is albums like 8Ball and MJG. These is albums like UGK, Riding Dirty. These is albums like the Lost Boys' first album. These albums were better than a lot of albums, sonically, song for song. Because even some of your big artists got skippers, got songs you skip. These albums, no skipping. And that's what make them better. And that 8Ball and MJG album was no skips. Riding Dirty, UGK, one of the best albums ever made in rap. Slick Rick with the Hey Young World, one of the best albums ever made. But nobody don't look at it like that because they only look at, the big hits on the record. You got 2 or 3 big hits. But these albums is not up there. But these albums is like that. The one that came out in 1995. On Top of the World. On the Outside Looking In and On Top of the World. Or it might be Coming Out Hard and Outside Look. No, I think I can't remember. I don't got my CDs. All I know is their second and third album, but I don't know if they counted Listen to the Lyrics as the first album. But I think it's On Top of the World. No, yeah. It might be Outside Looking In. It might be Coming Out Hard and Outside Looking In. There's 2 of them. I know Outside Looking In is one of them, but I don't know if it's the first one or the second one. I don't know if it's Coming Out Hard and On Top of the World, or is it Outside Looking In, or is it? I don't know which ones. I haven't listened to it, and I don't got my CDs. If I had my CDs, I would know. But out of those 3, 2 of them was like super, super good. And I'm thinking it's Coming Out Hard and On Top of the World. I don't think it's Outside Looking In. I think On Top of the World was like the best one. I can't remember. But I think On Top of the World is the one. You know what I'm saying? King T Trifling was pretty good. Okay, I don't mean nothing to me though. You was a baby. And you don't keep going back and forth. You was a baby. So you wasn't in the music like that. You know them, but you don't know the other artists, or you wasn't old enough to listen to the other artists to compare them. You was only a teenager. When did you know the most in life, Jeff? When you was 19 or when you was 25? When did you know the most in life? Because you try to talk like you knew the most in life at 19, which is false. None of us knew the most at 19 compared to 25, because at 19, we can compare 19 to 25. So if you listen to the music, you got to be listening for a while to compare. But I don't know who you know got to do with anything anyway. So you confusing me. Because I don't know who you know got to do with this conversation. I don't know what that means. What do that mean? What does it mean you know them? What does that got to do with how good the music is? You're confusing me, bro. Knowing them, what that got to do with this conversation, brother, because you know them. You know how many recording artists I know? What does that mean? Nothing. So I gotta ignore that. Let me move on. Because the people like that, they just be a distraction with like weirdo stuff. Yeah. I lived in their house. I ran around with them. Okay, I mean, come back in 30 minutes, bro. And if you ain't got it together by then come back tomorrow. I'm not doing. As a matter of fact, just come back tomorrow, bro. You know what I'm saying? Just come back tomorrow. And I'm not doing all that. Come back tomorrow. You know? Because you're on something else. And ruining the chat and ruining the conversation. So what we talking about, y'all that came over there, we talking about Fat Joe. Right? One of them, I don't know, I ain't got my CDs. But it was two good ones in a row. It was a real good one, and it was a super, really, really good one. Yeah, I don't remember which one, but I'm thinking it's maybe Coming Out Hard. They said it was their third album. So seeing that the first album, it was on a cassette, if I had to guess, the albums would be Coming Out Hard was real good, and On Top of the World was incredible. Because it was supposed to be their third album, and that was their third album. Because their second and third album was the one everybody was raving over, and their first album is listen to the lyrics. Their second album is Coming Out Hard. It was fire. Oh no! And then you got On the Outside Looking In is actually the next one. So they might not have counted the mixtape. So On Top of the World might not have been that good when I think about it. I think the two I'm talking about is Coming Out Hard and On the Outside Looking In, but I'm not sure. I can't. But anyway, they had two albums, and one was fire, and the next one was like super duper fire. Okay, I know I could find out. I know I can find out. I know just how I can find out. I figured it out. All right. 1995. Yeah. On Top of the World is the one. On Top of the World is the one. So the two fire albums was Outside Looking In, was fire. And then the next one was On Top of the World. It's On Top of the World. And you know how I know this? Because they performed that was their new album. And they performed with E40 and the Click. And their new song was Hurricane. Hurricane. And they both came out. Hurricane came out in 1995. And On Top of the World came out in 1995. So yeah, it was On Top of the World. It's one of the best rap albums ever made. And On the Outside Looking In is fire. So it's like On the Outside Looking In is here, and then On Top of the World is there. I had to think, what other songs did everybody do when they came? Because everybody did their new song. And the new song for E40 was Hurricane, 1995. So there's your answer right there. On Top of the World was fire. And on the outside looking in was real good too. So it was like real good and then excellent. Those the album. And that would be right because everybody was probably they was counting coming out hard. So back then nobody was counting, listening to the lyrics. They was counting coming out hard. Because everybody was saying their second and third album, and their third album was the fire, but they wasn't counting the one that's on the CD. I mean on the cassette. So they was counting their first album as coming out hard, which it wasn't. And their second album, everybody was saying was really good, which was on the outside looking in. I had that one. But on Top of the World was one of the best rap albums ever made. Okay? On Top of the World is one of the best rap albums ever made. Their voices was crazy. There was a good duet. It was fire. The Ghetto Boys ain't got no album that good. The Ghetto Boys ain't got no album as good as On Top of the World. Hardly nobody got an album as good as On Top of the World. Them boys could rap. They could rap. It sounds so good. Oh, God. Oh, God, that album sounds so good. I wish I had my CDs. Oh, man, that album was so good. Oh, it was so good. That's why they was headlining. Think about it. They was headlining over Big Pun and E40 in the Click. They was the headliners. Straight out the gate. They was fire. They gave birth to everybody. They, man. And so we're going to talk about this situation with Fat Joe. Now, Fat Joe and Jada Kiss got this show, right? So they got this show. So let me tell you why I'm talking about this. So I don't mess with Fat Joe. He disrespect Foundation of Black Americans, so he's out of here. But that ain't got nothing to really do with what I'm saying, because I wouldn't mix the two together because I wasn't even paying no attention to him. So if I wasn't paying no attention to him, why am I talking about this? Well, somebody that's popping up in my timeline on YouTube had posted a clip of Fat Joe and Jada Kiss from their show. And when I went to the clip, Fat Joe was talking like crazy. I didn't understand what he was talking about when I went to the clip. You know what I'm saying? So when I hit on the clip, he was talking like, you know, if you ain't had to go, if you ain't had a promoter sick the pit bull on you because he can't pay you, and if you ain't beat up the promoter and make him pay you with quarters. So I'm like, what the hell is he talking about? But it was just a short clip. So I said, let me go put this into context. So I find the video, the show, their first episode, because I didn't seen this clip. Other than that, I wasn't going to look at it. I don't support Fat Joe at all. Okay? I want his career to be over. But I wanted to find out and get a backstory on this clip. So I went, and I didn't know where it was coming up at, so I had to start the beginning. So I started to begin watching, and they talk about the Knicks, right? Now, I don't want to show nobody else's video, especially him. I can't stand him. So they was talking about the Knicks, and they was talking about basketball. And then they started talking about somebody else, and then they started talking about basketball again. So they're talking about basketball and stuff like that. And then it gets to the part where Him and Jada start talking. And Fat Joe comes out and says in so many words that he don't respect people commentating on rap, hip hop, unless they got a whole bunch of big hit records. And he was saying, if you ain't got no big record and you ain't no superstar, you shouldn't be on no podcast talking about rap, which is the most stupidest. So I'm looking and I'm thinking, what's this guy got to go? He's got to go. The man said he said he don't respect no podcasters that's talking about rap that wasn't no big rapper. So that means Big Boy, Angie Martinez, basically Gillian Wallow, me, any of us that's talking about rap and giving our opinion. He's saying he don't respect us because only people that's got the big hit records that been rapping a long time is the only ones that's legitimate to talk about rap. And I'm tripping on it. It's the most ridiculous thing I ever heard. And I'm saying something's wrong with this guy. Jada should stop working with. Jada's messed up working with this guy. That is the most ridiculous thing I ever heard. Because anybody can say anything about anything. Now, you know what makes this really crazy? He's saying that you really need to be an accomplish something in rap for your opinion about rap to matter. But he starts the show talk about sports. Can't make this. He starts the show talk about sports, but he don't play sports. I couldn't believe what I'm looking at. So let me get this straight. You can't talk about rap unless you're a rapper with a bunch of hit records. But you talk about sports and you're out of shape. You can't walk. You can't run. You've never played sports. And you just can't make this up. This guy is an idiot. And I'm saying this guy is absolutely an idiot. So you can't talk about politics unless you're the president, right? Or a governor. You can't talk about sports unless you hit a bunch of home runs and went to the World Series. You can't talk about rap unless you went platinum and had big hit records, according to him. But he's talking about sports. So I say, this guy here, this guy is crazy, bro. Do you listen to yourself? Bruh, tell me you didn't start out talking about sports. And then you turned around and say, can't nobody talk about music unless they're a big musician. And you talking about sports. And you can barely walk. And you can't do no sports. And I just said, So then when I seen that, I looked at Jada. I said, Jada, this man is ruining your whole persona. Jada, I know he's going for the bag, but Jada should have refused. And if Jada wanted to do something like that, he should have did it with Styles P. Him and Styles P will have a great show. But he's up there with Joe. And Styles and Jada kept trying to take the conversation in a kind of positive route. But Fat Joe is such a egomaniac loser. It's really something wrong with him. So he starts talking about you got to be this big rapper to talk about rap. And so then I'm thinking, dude, you're not a big rapper. You got 2 songs. I'm all the way up and lean back. 2. And you snapped on lean back. But all the way up, Remy Ma carried you on all the way up, bro. And the hooks carried both of them songs. No lyrics, no verses carried either one of them songs. What carried them songs is lean back, lean back. And I'm all the way up is the hottest part of the song. The lyrics are not the hottest part of none of those songs, bro. Joe, you're not a good rapper. He's not a good rapper. Nobody ever talk about they want to hear Fat Joe rap. As a matter of fact, Fat Joe's career is over if it wasn't for Big Pun. If it wasn't for Big Pun, Fat Joe would have disappeared like all the other older rappers that didn't get enough hit records. And all that prestige and all them big old diamonds and stuff came from the money he made from signing people to Terror Squad. He didn't make no money as Fat Joe. He made money at Terror Squad. And some people question if that money was legitimate because Pun's wife and children, he didn't even take care of them. Pun's son won't even talk to you. Never want to talk to you a day in his life. Joe nobody brings up Fat Joe when we bring up rappers. Fat Joe was known for having some cold hooks. That's what I knew Fat Joe from. 2 nice hooks, 2 songs. I'm all the way up and lean back. Fat Joe has no hot records, but those 2. And Remy helped with one of them. She made one of them. Now, I ain't gonna lie. Lean Back, he did rap. He rapped good on Lean Back. I ain't gonna tell no lie. His rap was good on Lean Back. Because I always like to still tell the truth. I ain't gonna just go and just because I don't like you and then start not telling the truth. I want to stay down the middle. I'll just listen to it. And he did. He was real good on Lean Back. His bars was nice on Lean Back. It wasn't as nice as the hook, but he held his own. He did 2 verses, and it was nice. You know what I'm saying? He was nice on Lean Back. I ain't gonna lie. I listened to his bars. His bars on All the Way Up wasn't nothing. His bars was horrible on All the Way Up. But on Lean Back, yeah, he was rapping on Lean Back. That's why people said he might have took Big Pun's lyrics because it don't sound like the old Joe. It's like, where you get them lyrics from? You know what I mean? That's another story for another day. Whose lyrics was those? Because they was really good for Fat Joe. It's like, oh, you don't rap that good. How are you rapping that good all of a sudden? But he did rap good on that song. I ain't gonna lie on him. But there's something wrong with Fat Joe. Fat Joe is an egomaniac. He exaggerates. He tells a lot of lies to build up the story. And it's a bad look for Jada. Jada should have never connected herself to this man, but I understand they want to get money. And I understand the move that YouTube is making. YouTube is making a move and disrespecting content creators like myself and demonetizing people because they need money to pay the big stars. I watch Hassan Campbell talk about that, and Hassan Campbell's 100% right. That YouTube, it was content creators like us that got over here and talked and talked and talked. And everybody used to play us like, oh, we just YouTubers. And then over the last 4 years, it blew up and big dollars started coming in. So now all of a sudden, Shannon Sharp is over here, and the other football player with the tall hats and the dress, Cam Newton is over here, and all the celebrities then ran over here sucking out the money from us. And content creators like us, our views is going down because the views are being ran and the algorithm is being sent to the famous people. So they took in all these Hollywood people and all these athletes and all these big rappers and singers that can't get no money rapping and singing and playing sports no more. And they put them over here in our lane and sucking our money and giving our money to them. And I had to tell somebody because I just told them, they said, they say, why you think they demonetize? I said, they don't got enough money. So they just made up a reason to demonetize. They can't afford to pay me. Shannon Sharp probably did 7 million. Probably did anywhere from 3 to 7 million with the Cat Williams. They had to pay that. So they got to pay these big celebrities now. And they trying to drive the views and drive the algorithms for the famous people. And those people that built YouTube, they turning their back on us. Because like I was telling a friend, I got to say unalive, unalive, unalive. But NBC News come over and say, a man was shot and killed. ABC News, a man was shot and killed today. They say killed. So the news can report the news. Killed have never been a bad word. Killed had never been nothing negative. It was a description of when somebody get unalive, they called them killed. So how is killed? Why you can't say somebody was killed? How is that negative to say somebody was killed in a car accident? I'm just trying to figure out. How is that a violation to say somebody was killed in a plane crash? So why you got to say unalive when somebody was killed in a plane crash? Somebody make sense, but they can still say it. So if you NBC, ABC, CNN, well, cool. But if you and I got to say unalive. I got to say unalive. And that's why I'm not getting monetized. That's why if y'all don't support the channel, I ain't going to never get supported because I ain't no sucker. And I ain't worked no job in my life because I wanted to work for myself. And when I came over to YouTube and got started talking, and then they monetized me, I took a long time to get monetized because I didn't really want to have to deal with the advertisers. I didn't want the advertisers telling me what to do. The advertisers have to come over here and get it how they live. But if you're an advertiser, don't think you can advertise and pay me and now you own me because I can go get a job if I want somebody to own me. So I don't want to work for YouTube. I want to work for myself. But they try and make me work for them. I don't want to work for them. That's why I'm the realest alive. Because I'm supposed to sell out so they can send me $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 a month. Man, they could take it and stick it up, you know what? I'm not doing none of that. Which is a whole nother video how we need to be supporting the other. Y'all need to be sending me money so that I could keep it real. Because it don't make no sense. Y'all ain't sending me money. I got to go and kiss ass with them to get some money. Y'all supposed to be sending money to these content creators so that they could talk and have freedom of speech instead of making them have to say unalive and all of that so YouTube pay them and selling our souls out to YouTube. Basically, they want you to sell your soul and talk how they want you to talk and all that, like they your daddy and they your mama and all that. And we have to support our own people. But they're taking these celebrities and they sucking all the air out the room. And they want to put these celebrities and knock the content creators that built live streaming. They want to step on them because people like Hassan and me and people like that, we built all this. Shannon Sharp didn't build this. He came after we built it. Fat Joe and Jada didn't build this. Regular people built this. DJ Academics and people like that built YouTube to what it is now. Star from the Star Report and people like that built this. Now they're going to bring in big stars that can't get no money where they was getting and bring them over here and suck all the air out the room. And then put a fool like Fat Joe over there and he talking crazy and he really damaging YouTube. And next thing you know, YouTube won't be nothing. YouTube need to call me. YouTube ruining YouTube because YouTube was great because it's where you can go and see the underground people. But if you take the same losers that killed TV and killed radio and killed MTV and bring them over here, they're going to kill this. They should have left YouTube raw. Once they commercialize it, everybody going to go find something else. They're going to leave. Let me give you an example. We had MySpace. Everybody was on MySpace because it was raw. It was gritty. They started going commercial. Everybody jumped over on Twitter. When everybody jumped over on Twitter, Twitter started blowing up and Facebook started blowing up. And Facebook blew up faster than Twitter. But after so long, Facebook got bigger, bigger, and bigger. I mean, Twitter got bigger, bigger, and bigger, and everybody ran for Facebook and came to Twitter. And when everybody left, especially the men, when they left Facebook and came to Twitter, they started getting all in the comments, want to argue, because that's the weirdo Facebook crowd. That's why we left Facebook, because Facebook is a bunch of weirdos that want to get in your comments and argue. So we went to Instagram. And when we went to Instagram, we was getting away from them, not Twitter, Instagram. Because we was on Twitter. Let me re-say that. We was on Twitter. We went from MySpace and we went to Twitter. And we was on Twitter and Facebook. And Facebook was doing better than Twitter. And then Instagram popped off. And when Instagram popped off, it was Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. But then Twitter started passing Facebook. But as Twitter passed Facebook, Instagram passed Facebook too. And then Instagram passed Twitter. So then everybody started, after a while, all the weirdos from Facebook came over to Instagram. So now Instagram is original people, just like YouTube was. They let all the weirdos come, and now Instagram is all messed up. Instagram is ruined. Because when you went to Instagram, I follow people, and when I go to my feed, I only see who I follow. So Instagram, you didn't see nobody if you didn't follow them. But Instagram now just put anybody in your feed. You don't even know these people. You ain't following these people. It's all these commercials in your feed. So it's not even the original Instagram no more. Facebook is a graveyard. Facebook is for family, to show family pictures. Nobody goes on Facebook because it's where arguing of feminine men is over there. And then them feminine men, they ran to Instagram. And all in your comments ruined Instagram with your femininity, want to argue over somebody can't post their own stuff, and you just keep it moving if you don't like it. Now you want to go over there and you want to put smiley faces and be all feminine like you got to dress in a bra and panties on. So then Elon Musk tried to go get Twitter, tried to make it be where you can have freedom of speech. So some people ran back to Twitter. Instagram died and TikTok took over. So now TikTok run things. And this other stuff is gone. The whole time YouTube was going past all of them because people was posting they stuff from Twitter, they stuff from Instagram, they stuff from TikTok on YouTube. So over the last 3 or 4 years, YouTube was the king. And content creators like us, we went and created a market where you can go see some alternative stuff. And now YouTube is selling out. Let's take a break. So I feel it offensive. Because when we was on here, people like Fat Joe was looking down on us like we just YouTubers. He's a big rapper. Now he's jumping in our space. You're a big rapper. Why is you over here? Oh, everything else dried up. So now you want to come take food out of our mouth. So now you look up and all these famous people, because TV is dead. Nobody watches TV. Nobody's really paying no attention on Facebook like that. They go and they look at stuff, but you know, it's just keeping going barely. So now all these celebrities coming to YouTube after content creators like us built it. People like Sarnetta TV, hate him or love him, built this. People like Tariq Nasheed built YouTube. I came in and built this. I've been over here since my father was alive. And we came over and we worked and built it. And now they bringing in all these celebrities and putting all the algorithms behind them and got them sucking all the air out the room and trying to commercialize YouTube and just kick us to the curb. And they thirsty, so they put Fat Joe up there, and Fat Joe get up there and say, if you wasn't no big time rapper, you can't talk about rap, but he ain't no big time athlete, and he talking about sports. Well, they done put somebody up there that ain't even that smart. He done shot it. This is the first episode. He done shot himself in the foot. He started that same Fat Joe stuff, bragging, got his foot all up on the table so you can see his sneakers. He's like something wrong with him. He's always exaggerating and he wants to be super braggadocious and it's hurting his whole image. And he done went and offended all these people and he didn't know he offended them. Because he said, if you ain't into music, you don't need to be talking about music. So he done offended Big Boy, been talking about music for how long? He ain't no rapper. So Fat Joe trying to tell me that I could pay to go to his concert and see him, but I can't go and talk about what I thought about it because I need to be a rapper to give an opinion about rap. Since when you got to be a star athlete to be a sports commentator? Since when you got to be an expert in something to watch it and give your opinion when really the viewers are just as much experts as the people that's playing? Because the viewers are watching. So you might play on the Celtics, but I'm watching the Celtics, the Bulls, the Lakers. I'm watching everybody. So you telling me I can't speak on sports? So this Fat Joe is speaking on sports, and he's not an athlete. And then he said, but you can't speak on rap if you ain't a rapper. Making himself look like a fool because he's so busy trying to toot his horn because he ain't that good, and he's actually insulting people without even knowing it. So by the time 2 or 3, 4 days go, he's going to have all these enemies. He's going to have a lot of enemies because he insulted everybody by saying they ain't got the right to talk about something that they don't do. When we know that it's the people that don't do it been the commentators. If that's the case, we can't talk about no movie. There's no movie critic because according to Fat Joe, you can't be no movie critic if you wasn't no big Hollywood celebrities that got Oscars. If that ain't the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. Because you can be a music expert without being a musician. You could have been listening to, I've been listening to music before he was born. And I know more about music than Fat Joe could ever know. I know more about rap than Fat Joe, for a fact. That is a fact. Because I know his career. I know his career and what he looked like to the audience better than he knows. I know that he was the worst rapper in this crew. He wasn't the best rapper and digging in the crates. He couldn't hang with Diamond D. He couldn't hang with not a brother in this picture. It ain't nobody in this picture that he could out-rap. That's a fact. Name me somebody in this picture he could rap better than. He's the worst rapper in the picture. And he's saying because they don't got no big record, they can't speak on rap, but they can rap better than him. Do that make any sense? None of them. Listen, everybody got the right to speak on something that they watched. Everybody got the right to speak on something that they spent their money on. If you bought CDs, so you're telling me I bought all these albums, Fat Joe, but I can't speak on these albums, how good they are and stuff, unless I made these albums and got, because he was saying that you gotta have platinum records, you gotta have awards. He's like, if you ain't with gold, if you ain't with platinum, he was talking in them lines. If you ain't got no real big records, and if you ain't had to go and chase down a promoter to get your money when you did a show, you shouldn't be speaking on rap. But then want you to come to his show. So he wants you to come to his show and give him money, but then he's gonna tell you, but you're not qualified to give your opinion about how good his show was. Do that make any sense? Does he realize just like you got professional rappers, you have professional listeners? That's also a profession. And a lot of times listeners listen to more rap than the rappers. So a lot of times the listeners, the music collectors know way more about it than the rapper. How many rappers know all these albums? I bet you the average rapper don't even know that much about rap. No, don't know that much about rap artists. I bet you Fat Joe is New York top heavy. He knows some New York stuff because he lived there. I guarantee you he don't know rap like that across the United States. I guarantee you. I guarantee you he don't know these people's albums. But he's saying, go watch it. And I'm looking at Jada Kiss. And Jada Kiss is trying to guide him. But Fat Joe just overpowered the situation. You know how he do. Because you can see Jada Kiss trying to, I seen Jada trying to say something to keep it, you know what I'm saying? And Joe just jumped out the window. Did Jada bogus because why are you doing all this when Jada's sitting there? And then you out talking Jada. You ain't as good as Jada. You cannot rap as good as Jada. You cannot rap as good as Jada. And it should have been Jada and Joe. But it's Joe and Jada. Because Joe is a loser and got an egomaniac. Go watch it for yourself. You're just gonna say this guy's an idiot. There's no way this guy. First episode, he ruined the first episode. Listen, the man ruined the first episode. He talks too much. He hogs the show. He talks too much and he hogs the show. He just hogged the show. Jada just sitting back and Fat Joe just jumped all out the window. Yeah, he had to attach himself to Jada, but he attached himself to Jada and then tried to steal the show. Didn't say it in a way so Jada could respond. Just jumped out there and said something stupid, and now Jada's up there, and a lot of people complain about the show, and Jada's face up there, and people dissing Jada now. Go look it up. People saying, Jada, I'm disappointed you. Why you let him sit up there and say all that? Jada, you look weak sitting up there. I ain't even want to talk about that. They dragging Jada. Because Jada didn't know how to pull his man to the back and say, hey, man, you slow down. FBA already on your neck. So kind of slow down. This fool got out there and say, if you ain't got no big hit records, and if you ain't no big rapper, you cannot give your opinion about rap. But he started out giving his opinion about basketball. It is one of the dumbest things I've ever seen in my life. Bro, you spent the whole beginning of the show giving your opinion on basketball. And according to what you say, you shouldn't be talking about basketball because you don't play you don't play sports. So what is he going to talk about for the rest of these shows when he done said you shouldn't talk about nothing that you didn't do well? And he ain't done nothing well. Include rap. He's just all right. He's not better than Remy Ma. Remy Ma's better than him, okay? Remy Ma raps better than him, okay? The first show, that fool got up there and said that. The first show, that fool said you shouldn't be talking about rap unless you was a big-time successful rapper, unless you've been rapping a long time. After he was talking about sports. You can't make this stuff up, man. You can't make this stuff up. That man came in talking about sports and then turned around and started saying you can't talk about rap unless you was a big-time rapper. And you just got to talk about sports and you don't play no sports. It's just... So people are going to be looking at that. Angie Martinez, Big Boy, all the DJs. He just told all the DJs they shouldn't be talking about music, but they DJs. And he ain't taking them as being professionals like him. Now you got to be the rapper. So he's saying, we the own. Because they asked him, they said, he answered the question and said, what is the Fat Joe Jada show about? And that was his answer. It's about we the rappers. We the only ones should be speaking on this. And if you wasn't successful and you wasn't in this a long time, you shouldn't be speaking on rap. They even did Sway, Big Boy, Angie Martinez, and all of the YouTubers that been doing this before he got desperate, had to come over here and jumped in our lane. And he don't make no sense because he's saying you could buy his album, but you can't critique his album unless you rap. And he don't even know that's what he's saying. Because he just get out there and he just get to talking. And it's obviously Fat Joe is not that smart. He's probably only good at being conniving, and because most of his money, most people would say is Pon's money. That he took Pon's money and he used Pon's money to build Terror Squad and then put people in Terror Squad. And how much did he pay them? How much did Remy make messing with him? I bet nothing. Not like what he pocketed. I couldn't believe it, y'all. I've never seen nothing like it. That's why you can't have everybody on here talking, because he's not intelligent to be over here talking. He just shot himself in the foot. So when he be talking about athletes, they're going to be looking at him like, I thought you said people can't talk about stuff they didn't do. You know what I mean? This man said, don't talk about something you don't do after talking about something he don't do. It's unbelievable. You know, look at it yourself. He started out talking about basketball. And after talking about basketball, all them minutes, he turned around and basically said, don't talk about nothing you don't do. Because I seen a clip somebody posted. I'm saying, well, why is he talking about this? So I got to go all the way back to try to see if I could catch the spot there. How he got on this subject about you shouldn't be talking about rap unless you're a big-time rapper. So when I go all the way back, he talking about the Knicks. He talking about sports. I'm like, what? I was totally confused. I said, this man just said you need to be an expert at rap to talk about rap. I go to the beginning of the show. You talk about sports. I'm totally confused. And you're not an athlete. It looked like you're going to be in a wheelchair soon because your legs is something wrong with them. You got too much top body and your legs is messed up. You're going to have to get knee replacements and hip replacements. We already know where this is going. And I said, this guy right here. And so I'm tripping. Now I'm looking at Jada like, see, Jada, you went after the money. And I know you're going to get the bag. I respect that. But you attached yourself with somebody that's lowering your profile. Jada's profile went down, which is sad. Yeah, his profile went down. First show, profile. That show's not going to last. Just like all Joe's other shows. How many shows he had? None of them last. Nobody going to want to watch Fat Joe. Couple years, you'll never see Fat Joe no more. He'll be done. You won't see him no more. They're going to be like, okay, you got to sit down, bro. You got to go sit down. I was confused. That's why I had to come over here, because I was confused. I had to get it off my chest. I never seen nothing like that before. That's like me on the show, and I'm a big-time bowler. And I'm like, you can't be talking about bowling if you don't bowl. But earlier, I was talking about singing, but I don't sing. You know what I mean? I'm going to start out, yeah, Patti LaBelle and them was on the tour, and the singing is like this, and the R&B, and you should sing like that. Then later, I'd be like, you should not be talking about bowling if you ain't been no big-time bowler. When I just got through talking about a bunch of stuff that I ain't big time in. And I'm saying, boy, you cannot make this up. Hey, you cannot make this up. He said you shouldn't be talking about nothing that you ain't an expert in. But he started out the show talking about something he ain't no expert in. I'm tripping. And I'm like, does he realize what he just said? He don't even realize what he just said. If you're going to have a show like that, you got to be mindful of what you're saying. Much respect to all my brothers and sisters in South Africa. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I've been a supporter of destroying apartheid from a shorty. So we've been against apartheid. We've been standing up for black brothers and sisters in South Africa. And it's a shame they got a place in South Africa that's all white. Y'all know they got a little town, like a little village in South Africa that's all white. Blacks can't live there in South Africa. Y'all believe that? They got a place in South Africa that blacks can't live in Africa. You can't make this stuff up. That's a whole nother video for another day. That's just as crazy as Fat Joe, ain't it? Fat Joe said you can't talk about rap unless you're a big time rapper. But he talking about basketball. Unbelievable. It's funny, it's frustrating, and it's funny, and sometimes things are so ridiculous. And I'm kind of pissed because I don't want Jada up there with him. I'm like, Jada, man, dang, we like Jada. I ain't like Curtis Blow. We didn't like that kind of rap. Yeah, we didn't like Curtis Blow. Curtis Blow was trash. We didn't like rap till LL Cool J. LL Cool J made us like rap. LL Cool J is in the first, because I was living in LA when LL Cool J came out. And LL Cool J was the first big battle rapper. The first big battle rap, national, was Kool Moe Dee versus LL Cool J. The MC Shine and them, that stayed in New York. Nobody knew that. And Sham is whack. So nobody knew that battle. So a lot of times New Yorkers don't understand that was in New York. That wasn't national. He wasn't making no national noise until LL. So I remember in LA, I worked for a telemarketing company. And every day I went to work, they were talking about Kool Moe Dee and LL. Everybody know the Wild Wild West, the Wild Wild West. And everybody know, you're jingling, baby. Pass the wine cooler, you big black nigga. The jingling. Everybody know he this. Everybody know that battle. That was the first big rap battle in rap history. That was the first national rap battle. LL Cool J is the king of rap. He's the one that kicked rap off to make it as big. He's the first rock star of rap. Was LL. He built rap. He the one made black people pay attention to rap. Because we already knew how to rap. We already knew how to rap. So a lot of people don't know that. I knew how to rap already. We already knew how to rap. But we didn't learn how to rap from rappers. Rappers didn't teach us how to rap. Now the first big song that was like a rap song was about Ball of Confusion as far as just rap, but that's not how we learned how to. Was Rapper's Delight. But we learned how to rap from the Temptations. The Temptations taught us how to rap. So black Americans in Chicago and LA and St. Louis, we learned how to rap from the Temptations. This song right here was the first rap song that taught us how to rap. All that other stuff, pig meat and all that, that's my mom and them. That didn't teach us how to rap. The first song that taught black Americans how to rap was Ball of Confusion. This is a fact. This was the first rap song. This is how we learned how to rap. These are our facts. This the song taught us how to rap. I'll be giving y'all real history. We learned how to rap in 1970. LL Cool J first song, 1984, 14 years later. The first Sugar Hill Gang, which is known as the first official rap song, came out in 1979. 9 years after the Temptations. Facts. 9 years after the Temptations. I learned how to rap when I was 12 years old. Rap wasn't even, I learned how to rap from the Temptations. That's a fact. It was the first rap song we learned. That's how my group learned how to rap. Because everybody was singing like each day through my window, I watched her as she passes by. Those were the first rap song that my generation learned was the Temptations. People moving out, people moving in. Why? Because of the color of the skin. Run, 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 but you sure can't hide. An eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. Vote for me and I'll set you free. Rap on, brother. Rap on. They said it right in the song. Yeah. The only person talking about love, my brother, is the preacher. And it seems nobody's interested in learning but the teacher. Education, legislation, to the nations, legislation to our nation. Ball of Confusion. That's how we learned how to rap. I used to know all the lyrics. I forgot them now. That was the first rap song, 1970, for my generation. First rap song. It's a fact. Pig meat and all them, it never caught on. We just thought they was just clowning because they was like Sanborn and keep my sheep and kiss my thing. And they was on Ed Sullivan. And that was like, for my young generation, my mom and them watched that. For us, they was like Sanborn. You know what I'm saying? So we didn't really like pig meat and all them. Because they was like step and fetch it. And they was like, you know what I'm saying? Here come the judge. Here come the judge. So, you know, that was like cooning for my generation. You know what I'm saying? So we ain't like that stuff. That was stuff they was doing for my mom and them generation. And my mom and them didn't like that stuff. My mom and them like Nat King Cole and Tina Turner and that kind of stuff. They didn't like pig meat and all that. They was put on TV to degrade black people. Pig meat wasn't positive. He was put up there to Samboas. Louis Armstrong too. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. We like, what the heck? We ain't like that stuff. You know what I'm saying? That ain't my generation. My generation is with hip hop, with your bad self. Say it loud. Dun, dun, I'm black and I'm proud. Did Smokey Robinson write for most of Motown artists? Some. But you had McFadden and Whitehead. You had a bunch of writers. The brothers that played them guitars and pianos wrote a lot of that stuff. Because Smokey didn't even write all Smokey's songs. Smokey didn't write all his songs. So no, the people that mostly made all them songs was the musicians. The musicians were the ones that put together those songs for the singers. The singers wasn't making those songs. The musicians was the ones making the songs. The Rapture by Blondie. Blondie was whack. She wasn't no rap. She wasn't nobody paying no attention to Blondie. And Blondie 1980. How was Blondie 1980 before Rappers Delight 1979? You already lost. You said, look up Blondie 1980, right? Let me show how people want to argue, don't be knowing what they talking to. He said the first rap group is Blondie 1980, right? Ain't that what he just said? Now watch this. He said 1980, right? Right? What year did Sugar Hill Gang Rappers Delight come out? What y'all see? He said 1980 is the first song, right? What year did Rappers Delight come out? I think this say 1979. So I wish some of y'all wouldn't be just trying to argue when you don't know what you're talking about. Shut up over here when I'm over here talking. Bud, be quiet. Go teach on your own pace so you can misteach. You don't know what you're talking about. She made that song after she heard Rapper's Delight. Let me delete this so he won't be misteaching y'all. Talking about the first rap song, 1980. And I didn't show you that the first rap song was The Temptations, 1970. And nobody was listening to Blondie. She was a culture vulture. Nobody was listening to her. Missing just people that they always be trying to challenge you before they do their research. And and listen, I'm 67. What make him think he know anything more about music than me? In his whole life. When I've been DJing since I was like 6 or 7 years old. I played the trumpet. I played in band. I played R&B. I played reggae. I got a record label. I've been in every aspect of music. He don't know nothing about music like me. I'm one of the top music experts on the history of music in the country right now, to be honest with you. If I had all my CDs and I had all my 45s that got burnt up at the house in Harvey, come on, you see the albums? I got cassette tapes. I've been buying records since I was a baby. And I'm in Chicago, which is the big city that had the black giant, WVON, which was the #1 black radio station in the country. Okay? WVON was the #1 black radio station in America. Anybody will tell you that. And all black artists, their main stop to make their money was Chicago. They made more money in Chicago than they made in New York. And Chicago had the records before New York because Detroit's right up the road. As soon as Motown would drop them records, the first place they would be hit is Chicago. When I was a little boy, my grandmother lived in Detroit. And I bought records like every day with new records. So I would take my records, I would buy records, I'd go up to Detroit and I'd play my records and it don't even be out. It come out 3 days after I'm in Detroit. I'm in Motown and I got the record before the DJ in Motown. Because you got to understand in music, it ain't about where you make it at, it's about your customers. And Chicago got the most customers because Chicago's blacker than New York. New York's not a black city. New York is an immigrant city. Chicago's the blackest city in America. New York's not black. New York is on the coast, a whole bunch of Chinese, a whole bunch of Puerto Ricans. It's blacks there, but it's not a black city. Coastal cities ain't black. LA's not black because it's on the coast. It's on the coast. So it's a whole bunch of Filipinos and Mexicans and stuff. New York's not black. There's black people there, but it's not a black city. That's why the Puerto Ricans trying to punk them and say they started rap. But the king of the black people is Chicago. We run all this black stuff. We the blackest. Period. We are black culture. We the heart of America. This is New York is one arm, and this the other arm. And Chicago is the middle. And so Chicago hear everything from New York, everything from Detroit. We hear everybody. So that's why we got love for all the black people, because we in the middle. We the heart. New York is one arm. LA is the other arm. But they call what they call the Midwest, the heartland. I live in the heartland. It's the heart of black culture. That's why when the Black Panthers came here, they was bigger than the Black Panthers in Oakland. That's why they had to get rid of. They had to get rid of Fred Hampton because he was more powerful than Huey Newton. Huey Newton wasn't powerful like Fred Hampton because Fred Hampton, when he built the Black Panthers, he was bringing in the GDs, the Disciples, the Stones, and the Vice Lords. They ain't had no big gangs like that out there. So they said, we got to get rid of this dude because he was bringing in big groups and they was, and they say he got to go. I'm trying to find a picture of the Main 21. There's a picture of the Main 21 with all the gang leaders and Fred Hampton. That picture, they probably burnt it. Can't nobody find it. I'm trying to find it. Yeah, we was the center point because everybody, you understand, Chicago had my grandfather came to Chicago. My daddy's father came to Chicago, and then he went back to Alabama. My daddy's the youngest of 13. And my granddaddy always told my uncles and my daddy, when y'all get grown, go to Chicago, go to Chicago, go to Chicago. So they came from the South, and they all came to Chicago. Chicago had the most jobs. And Detroit, because Detroit had Ford. The whole Detroit was Ford. So my grandmother and her brothers went to Detroit. My mother's mother and my mother's uncles went to Detroit. And my daddy and all his brothers came to Chicago. And Chicago is like the capital of black people. So if you dropped a record or you got to do a tour, you got to come to Chicago. So they had the Regal Theater in New York and they had the Regal Theater here. That's why you think they had the Regal here. When I was a little boy, my mom used to take me to the Regal. When I was a little bitty boy, my mom would take me and we see Jimmy Butler. I love you so. The Smokey Robinson, the Temptations, the Impressions, Curtis Mayfield and the Impressions, Glass Knight and the Pip. I seen all them when I was like 5, 4, about 4 years old, 3, 4 years old, like 3 or 4 years old. Because we was the baby boomers. So it was more of us than our parents. Our parents came in here, they had all these babies. And when you got the baby boomers, you got different years. So the baby boomers is a lot of different years. But I was the boom of the baby boomers. So when you hear baby boomers, y'all know, say, oh, Pharaoh was the group that was the boom. So I was the boom. Now, what did it mean I was the boom? It mean when these black people came, they was having these babies. They was having babies born in 1956, 1957, 1958, 1959, 60. But everybody had a 1958 baby. So this family got 5 children, and this one born in 1958. This family got 2 children, and this one born in 1958. The baby. This one got 2 kids and the oldest born in 1958. So every family had a 1958 baby. I'm giving y'all history. Nobody, even the white people and historians, don't know this because you had to been here. So my 1958, we the most powerful blacks in the country because we had all different brothers and sisters, but everybody had a 1958 baby. So that's why the gangs died out when I went to high school, because the gangs couldn't punk us because we outnumbered the gangs. We outnumbered the gangs. So the gangs couldn't get us to join. It was so crazy that at high schools, they used to have freshman initiation. So that when the freshmen would come to high school, the seniors and the juniors would punch them up. When we went to high school, we ended freshman initiation because it's 10 seniors, but it's 40 of us. It was 40 of us, 10 of them. So they was talking about seniors. So when they said freshman initiation, instead of us being scared and trying not to get jumped, we was excited, like, yeah, senior initiation. So it's 4 stalls in the bathroom. We go stand 2 on each stall so you can't see nobody in there. The seniors come in there, don't think nobody in there. 2 seniors come in there. We jump out the stall, 8 of us. Brrr, the original Rat Pack. Brrr. We wouldn't hurt each other. We just, we rough back then too. We punch them up and we leave. So the seniors stopped having initiation. And when the seniors stopped having initiation, we didn't have initiation. We didn't do my sister and them. My sister born 59. We didn't do the young people like us. We didn't do initiation. We didn't do freshman initiation. We didn't do bullying. We didn't mess with the younger brothers and sisters. They was our friends. But we whooped the juniors and the seniors. As a matter of fact, when I went to school, they had intramural basketball. And the juniors would play the freshmen. And the sophomores would play the seniors. And then the winners would play each other. And then the winners of that would play the teachers. So we was freshmen. We played the juniors. We whooped the juniors. The seniors beat the sophomores. We beat the seniors. And we beat the teachers. We was the first generation that blew everybody off the court. And nobody was on the basketball team. No one was on the basketball team because there was racist back then. There was a lot of white dudes on the basketball team couldn't play. But their parents had the money. So they was on the team. But they couldn't outplay us because we Earl the Pearl Monroe. We Dr. J. You know what I'm saying? We beat everybody. We wasn't really the original YNs because we wasn't doing no violence. We wasn't the original YNs. We was Black Power. We would say a lot, I'm black and I'm proud. I grew up as a shorty. I'm listening to the Last Poets, Gil Scott-Heron. I'm listening to Last Poets. The white man got a God complex. I'm in the 6th grade. I'm in the 7th grade. I'm listening to It's winter in America. We listen to the militant stuff because, right? We the babies, right? We the babies, right? We the babies, right? Right? So I'm born in 1958, right? So I'm born in 1958. So when I'm 10 years old, what's my favorite song when I'm 10 years old? When I'm 10 years old, what y'all think my favorite song was? This was my favorite song when I was 10. With your bad self, say it loud. Don't, I'm black and I'm proud, and I'm 10. Just let that sink in. We 10 years old. This is our favorite song. I used to do recitals at Dunbar High School. I ran home and told my mama, Mama, I want to do Black and I'm Proud. Imagine that psychology at 10. Imagine that. Imagine 10 years old. Y'all, our favorite song is I'm Black and I'm Proud. You know who our hero was when I was 8, 9, 10? James Brown. James Brown was soul brother number one, the Godfather of soul. When I grew up, I'm 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 years old. We had three heroes. Our number one hero was James Brown. Our number two hero was Muhammad Ali. And our number three hero was Dr. J. These were the top three heroes for young black boys from my generation, born in 1958. Our number one hero was James Brown. James Brown was the biggest hero for black Americans. Muhammad Ali trying to meet James Brown. And then Muhammad Ali was number two. So that's why we could fight. And that's why they couldn't jump us at the schools and all of that. Because we, when if Ali is your hero, what you doing all day? You boxing. You want to be like Ali. You're making sure your hands, even right now I can still box because we boxed every day. We slap box and we box for fun. You know what I'm saying? We box for fun. We ain't had no PlayStation, so we boxed all day. We want to be like Ali. So imagine me boxing all day, boxing from a kid, 8, 9 years old. I'm boxing. And then I go to a Lutheran school with some white kids. And I grew up on Say It Loud, I'm Black and I'm Proud, and I'm boxing. And you're a white dude. And you walk up on me talking crazy. What happened? You know what I'm saying? They not like us. They like us. Da-da. So now you go sit your ass down somewhere. You got me effed up. So I never dealt with racism because I was, all about, what I'm saying? I was about that action. What we doing? What? Because I ain't from Alabama. I'm not from Alabama. I'm from Chicago. I don't know nothing about, I ain't never picked no cotton. I might pick some lint off my sweater. So I'll be floating like a butterfly, stinging like a bee. So bow. I didn't have no problems at the Lutheran school because you're going to get because we did this all day and you get good. Like if you ride a bike all the time, you could do wheelies. You could jump off the bike and jump back on it. When you do something, and my coordination now is still like that from all that slap boxing. I'm still fast. I'm still really deadly with my hands. Because boxing is an art. And slap boxing is an art. It's the art of not getting hit and hitting and looking for that opening. You swing, you swing it. Can you hit me though? Can you hit me though? Can you bow? And when you stick your hand out, oh, I got you. Because your hand out here, bow. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Nah, Jim Brown, that's my mom and them. My mom and them used to go watch Jim Brown movies. Now, he wasn't our hero. He older. That's my mama hero. My mama hero is the Supremes, the Temptations, Jim Brown, Nat King Cole, Tina Turner, Aretha Franklin. That's my mama, the Supreme. That's my mamas and them heroes. They're not our heroes. Our heroes is James Brown and on. Because when the Jackson 5 came out, they shut everybody down. So me and Michael was the same age, Michael Jackson. So when we in kindergarten and we going on the field trip from the public school, what we on the bus singing? We on the bus, A, B, C, easiest 1, 2, 3, simple as do, re, mi, A, B, C. And imagine being 6 years old and the biggest star in the world is your age. And the Jackson 5 ran everything. You know why the Jackson 5 ran everything? You know why the Jackson 5 was so powerful? Because it was baby boomers. And the baby boomers was all different age, and the Jackson 5 was what? All different age. So there was something for every dude And there was some for every girl. So every girl could like a Jackson. The kindergartens, the first graders like Michael, the second graders like Marlon, the next one's like Tito, the big girls like Jermaine. That's why they was winning. Think about it, because they had every girl like the Jackson that's their age. The Jackson 5 knocked the Temptations and all that was over. That's when all that kind of ended. They still was making records and stuff, but the Jackson 5 pushed the older artists out the way. The only artist that was able to, and it used to go like this. They used to drop their records like this. James Brown, then Aretha Franklin, the Temptations, and the Supremes. Them was the 4 greatest. They ran everything. Not Smokey Robinson, none of them. These are people that ran the music. James Brown, the Godfather of Soul, Aretha Franklin, the Queen of Soul, Temptations, Supremes. Them was the 4 big artists. But the Jackson 5 came, and it's more of us than our parents, because we the baby boomers. Our parents had all these babies. So now we dominate. Now I got the Jackson 5 cartoon, so we dominated early. They covered all the ages, so they had all the girls. You see what I'm saying? You know how kids is, once we get somebody our age, that's our favorite. So everybody wanted to be like them. You know what I'm saying? I'm giving you real history. You ain't get this nowhere else. That's why I support the channel. Check this out. I ain't kidding. Watch this. Watch this. Everybody wanted to be the Jackson 5. Behind my house, we had a band. We had a band behind my house. Bands was everywhere. We used to go watch bands perform. We used to go and watch bands perform when I was little. You know what I'm saying? And behind my house, we had a band, and they practiced right behind my house. They had records on the radio and everything. I used to cut through their house to go to school. This them right here. I grew up with them. It was called the 8 Minutes. Sly was good. Sly was big, but he had a lot of white people in the band. So we kind of liked him, but he was like a weirdo kind of. Because the Family Stone was weird. I got the album. Hold on. See, I had the albums. We liked dude, but he wasn't big like that because it was, you know, who is all these people? You know what I'm saying? I couldn't really relate with them. You know what I'm saying? And then he was always high, so he couldn't keep his career on point. As a matter of fact, my parents went to see Sly at Soldiers Field. And all them black people was there to see Sly. And he was in the helicopter getting high with Miles Davis and didn't show up on the show. He in the helicopter getting high. And it almost started a riot. So my parents didn't want to go back to no more big concerts. So a lot of black people didn't like Sly because he wouldn't show. A lot of black people could have got hurt because this fool got all these people in Soldiers Field where the Bears play waiting to see him, and he flying over with Miles Davis, because Miles was another loser. He flying over the concert with Miles Davis and don't even come to the concert and messed everything up. You know what I'm saying? I played the album a lot, but it was just, he just, you know what I'm saying? And then when he got on TV and Muhammad Ali was going to whoop him, it was over once my Ali was going to whoop him. Y'all remember he was on Mike Douglas trying to talk crazy to Muhammad Ali? He was over when he went to talk crazy to Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali was going to whoop him. Y'all remember that? No, I'm giving y'all some history y'all know, huh? I'm giving y'all some history y'all don't know. When Muhammad Ali was going to whoop Sly Stone. I'm about telling y'all too much. Muhammad Ali was going to whoop dude, and we like Ali. Ali was our number one greatest hero. Here it is right here. When Sly was up there cooning for the European. He was up there cooning on the Mike Douglas show. And Ali was finna whoop him. Sly was cooning. So, we ain't really like dude like that. Muhammad Ali was finna whoop him, though. Yeah, Muhammad Ali was gonna whoop him. Look, watch tense exchange between Muhammad Ali and Sly Stone over reparations. Ali was standing for reparations and Sly was saying no reparations. Facts. Ali was pushing reparations way back then. And this punk Sly was siding with Mike Douglas. Oh, you know what I'm saying? On the Mike Douglas show right here. On the Mike Douglas show. There go Mike Douglas, there go Ali, there go Sly. And Sly kept cooning. You know what I'm saying? So now he ain't, you know what I mean? See how Ali put the fist up? See how Ali put the fist up? Muhammad Ali and Sly Stone get into heated debate on racism and reparations on the Mike Douglas show. And Ali was finna whoop him. And like I said, we was Ali Kumbaya, Ali Kumbaya. We wasn't Sly, so Sly wasn't nothing after that. We ain't like Sly, because he was a coon. Yeah, he was a coon. We ain't like him. Sly was a coon. That's why I only got one of his records. You know what I'm saying? Because Ali was number 2. So you're going to listen to number 2. Now, James Brown was number 1. You'll never would have seen James Brown cooning like that. You know what I'm saying? So we ain't really like Sly. Sly and the Family Stone, some black hippies. Dance to the music. Now, we weren't messing with that. That wasn't our kind of music. Our music was smiling faces. Sometimes breathing to be. That's when the bop first came out that they called Stepping 3. It's showing on places, and we little kids at the party. You pay a quarter, have a quarter party. You pay a quarter, go to the party. Or a waistline party where the mama is at somebody's house, and if the girl or a boy having a party, mama's the one let you in, and she had a measuring tape, and she measure your waist, and that's how much you pay to get in. If your waist 21, you pay 21 cents. If your waist 23, you pay 23 cents. Called waistline parties. And we down there stepping. That was the beginning. We called it bopping, though. Dun, 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 dun. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he was trying to be on some Woodstock stuff, but he wasn't on no Woodstock stuff. I'm glad y'all said that. I give y'all a little history. See, he was trying to be on some Jimi Hendrix stuff, right? He was trying to be on some Jimi Hendrix stuff. But here go the thing. This Jimi Hendrix, we was messing with this Jimi Hendrix with the red, gold, black, and green with the black band. So you gotta understand, Jimi Hendrix went militant. That's why they killed him or unalived him. Because Jimi Hendrix dropped them zeros and got with the heroes. So Jimi Hendrix went and got with Buddy Miles and Billy Cox, 3 black dudes. This is called the Band of Gypsies album. This is when I, got into Jimi Hendrix. I just went back and bought these albums to fill up my collection, but this was the one, right? And it was so militant that they didn't even announce him, because this was his first performance with a black band. So when you put the record on, it's gonna say, "Ladies and gentlemen, our old friend with a brand new name, the Band of Gypsies." They come out, they don't know what I know, okay? All the time. And this is when my brethren Kojo, that come up with Mortimer Plano, that taught Bunny Wailer and Bob Marley and them to grow dreadlocks and be Rasta and make reggae. This was when Kojo and Mortimer Plano was in England. So Kojo was gonna start growing dreadlocks and become a Rasta. He had some Rastas playing his congas. You notice the album is a red, gold, and green, and black. So he was in England and he ran into the Rastas because the Jamaicans had a lot of Jamaicans lived in England then. They wasn't in America. And Kojo was there with Mortimer Plano because they was on a special exposition with Emperor Haile Selassie to go to Ethiopia, right? So Mortimer and Kojo Brown, my teacher, was on an expedition with Haile Selassie. They rode on the plane with Haile Selassie because, Mortimer Plano is the one that got on the plane when Haile Selassie came to Jamaica. And he came out the plane, he synced all them Rastas out there. He went back in the plane and they sent for Mortimer. And they had Mortimer come and walk His Majesty out the plane. And Mortimer was number 1, and my teacher, Ras Kojo, was number 2. And they end up going to Ethiopia to take and they end up going to Africa to come back with a report. Is it possible for black people to move to Africa? And Mortimer came back and said no. That Africa was way behind and it was worse than Jamaica. You understand? So Mortimer Plano was number 1 and my teacher was number 2, the brother I lived with in Compton. And then because they was going back and forth to Africa and with all them Jamaicans in England, they was in England, and that's how he met Jimi Hendrix. And Jimi Hendrix, conga player, was a Rasta. These is all facts. These is all facts. Let me see, I should have a picture of Mortimer to show y'all the history. Here we go. So they went and called Mortimer to walk His Majesty out the plane. That's Mortimer right there. And there go Emperor Haile Selassie. And that's Mortimer. And him and my teacher, Kojo, went with His Majesty to Ethiopia. And so when I left here, I went to Compton because the brother lived here. His brother lived in Compton. And so he said, you could go stay with my brother. He got dreadlocks. So we went and we stayed with his brother in Compton. And one day taking a bus in Compton, Kojo drove by and he was 2 houses down from the bus stop. So when the van went by, he stopped, he looked at us. The van went, he got out and walked, told us to come to his crib. So that's how I met him. So him basically created reggae. And they the ones taught Bunny and Peter and Bob. Bunny, Peter, and Bob wasn't Rastas until they met Mortimer and Ras Kojo. That's why you hear Black Heroes say, Aya Bingi Kojo is coming over the hill. So these the brothers that brought the younger Rastas into the Rastafarian culture. This is why Ja Bunny wanted to link up with me, because this is supposed to be Ja Bunny daddy. And so when Ja Bunny knew I was around Kojo, that's why he wanted to link up with me. But what Ja Bunny didn't understand is I'm a Don Dada now. And so he tried to come in my life, talk crazy to me, but I ain't the one. This is Big Pharaoh now. I ain't little Ramesses no more. I'm not Ramesses. I paid my dues. All my elders, now they passed the torch to me. I'm the man. So these people, now Kojo passed away. Rest in peace to Ras Kojo. But his sons is here, and I'm following his sons on Instagram. They was little boys. They used to run up on me. I bet you don't know who my daddy is. They used to be. They was little boys, and they would run up on me. I bet you don't know who my daddy is. Yeah, they would run up on me. They were shorties. You know what I'm saying? So that's how, you understand, I was kind of picked for this mission. You know what I'm saying? I was kind of picked. Because it ain't no way I meet a brother here in Chicago and he got somebody with dreadlocks. I want to go to L.A. It's all going to be in my book. And I go to L.A. and at the bus stop, Kojo is 2 houses down. And I'm a young Rasta. And so now I'm living with Kojo and King OG. I'm going back and forth until then we got a place. So it's all like supposed to happen. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, Ras Kojo, he passed away. You know what I'm saying? He passed away. But I was a young militant. There you go, when he was an elder. You know what I'm saying? And he was real cool. All the Black Americans in Compton loved him. All the Black Americans in Compton loved Kojo. And so I be in contact with his sons. I'm following his sons. There they go. There go his 2 sons. There go the young Kojo right there. And there go his son, Bavero. He said, my father with my baby brother in his arms. They got another little baby brother. I ain't meet that little brother. He was probably in Jamaica with his oh, no, that is the baby brother. This the girl right here. Oh, this the girl I think this the girl in the front. I think this the girl. This his daughter in the front. And this the 2 boys, the one right there and the one right there, because he says baby brother. And they was close to age and she was older. So this is a little girl right here in the front with her dreads. because she was a teenager when we were staying there. See? Like mine, Compton, California, 1981. And I got out there in like 1982. Now these might be the two brothers, and this might be their little brother probably wasn't there. Maybe he had went back to Jamaica with the mama, because I think these two was the boys I was around, the oldest and the youngest one. And this one right here, he probably had went back with his mama to Jamaica. Because for sure, these two are the ones I was running around. Because this the age they was when I got there. He was a little bit older, and the other little one was older. So that young one he holding, that one wasn't there. He was probably in Jamaica with Kojo's woman when she went back to Jamaica. And that's Kojo. When I met him, he looked like that. You know what I'm saying? How they got a link with His Majesty? They got a link with His Majesty because when His Majesty came to Jamaica, all the rosters came out there by the thousands. So when they opened the plane, when they was getting ready to come out, when they let the stairs down and they rolled up the red carpet, rolled the red carpet up, the rosters went and got the red carpet and tore it up because they said the Queen walked on it. And there was fireborn Queen Elizabeth, they used to say. So they say the King of Kings can't step on no rug the Queen been on. So His Majesty look out there and synced all them rosters, smoking them chalices and beating them drums. His Majesty went back in the plane. So His Majesty went back in the plane. They summons Mortimer. And they said, Mortimer, come here quick. You see how the other brother looking at all them rosters? You see the brother with the hat on to the left? Look how he looking at all them rosters. So they called the head roster to bring His Majesty out because His Majesty didn't know nobody was worshiping him like that. He was shocked. Think about it. He from a big country like Ethiopia. He been in America. He been everywhere. But he go to this little bitty island and it's just thousands of people worshiping him like God. So he was overtaken. He couldn't believe it. So he went back in the plane and they sent for Mortimer, and Mortimer went and walked him out. And then that's how him and Mortimer built a relationship, but Mortimer was up in the hills with Kojo. Because they was Nyabingi Rasta. So when His Majesty wanted them to come, then Kojo and Mortimer went with His Majesty to Ethiopia. Kojo didn't go to Ethiopia. Kojo flew on the plane to England, and then when they left England, Mortimer went to Africa, and Mortimer went to do a study of Africa. Then he met back with Kojo, and then they came back to Jamaica. And Mortimer came back with a report saying that Africa not ready yet. And Kojo, he lived in Compton. He didn't have no electricity or nothing. California warm. He had a big old ganja tree. So the first time I met him, he got out the van, he came and said, come, Aya. And so we followed me and my brethren Kepper. We straight from Chicago, young comedic rosters. And he took us in the backyard and he had a ganja tree and it was wide. I still ain't seen one like that. And he said, look, Aya, what am I going to do with this thing? The helicopter going to see it. And after that, I went and I was like a part of the family. Me and my queen and my brethren Kepper. Because I met a queen there that had my two sons. I met her in Compton and started knocking that back. And then we became a couple. And then us three, we ended up going back to Hawaii and Kojo ended up going to Jamaica. But that's how I got my rank at roster. It was through the Most High. It wasn't through me. I was just put there. So I was just given the rank. But I had to play my position, but everybody passed around, so it's me. These things you be ordained, like life ordained you. Nobody don't ordain you. Your life do its own thing. You can't take credit for. I can't take credit for none of this. How I know that the brother house I'm going to, when I walk and stand at the bus stop, Kojo lived 2 houses down. Because he pulled right up in the van and looked and said, yes, Rasta. And then we watched the van drive to the next house and park, and he get out and he live there. Now, I never went to Jamaica because I never wanted to go to Jamaica. I never wanted to go to Jamaica. I never wanted to go to Jamaica because I'm like a super militant. I never wanted to go to Jamaica, Africa. I never wanted to go and look at poor people. I think different. So I never wanted to go and look at no poor people. I refused to go to Jamaica. The reason I refused to go to Jamaica, because if I went to Jamaica, I was going to get treated better than the Rastas in Jamaica. And I'm a revolutionary, and I ain't want to do that. By me being a Black American, I can go to Jamaica with my dreads, get a hotel room and all that. But the Rastas in California can't get no hotel room. So I didn't never go to Jamaica. So what I would do, my friends went to Jamaica. So when my friends would go to Jamaica, they would come to our house with 4 suitcases. And then we would take old clothes, and I would buy toilet paper and toothpaste and all that and pack them up in their suitcases. And they would take their 4 suitcases to go to Jamaica, and then they would leave everything there for the poor people in Jamaica. You know what I'm saying? They would go to Jamaica and leave everything there for the people in Jamaica. But I didn't ever want to go to Jamaica. I'm really a revolutionary. I didn't want to go and be doing better than my people. What I want to go for? So I ain't want to go to Jamaica. For what? Plus, everybody got their diplomats, and Jamaica got its Rasta diplomats. But I'm a comedic Rasta diplomat for Black Americans. This is the people I'm here to teach. So I've been working where I'm supposed to work at. I'm supposed to work here. I'm not supposed to work in Africa. I'm not supposed to work in the Caribbean. I'm supposed to work in LA, Chicago, New York, Texas. Kojo and them is Nyabingi Rasta. Some brethren is 12 tribe of Israel. Some brethren is Bobo Shanti. Some is Orthodox. Me, I'm Rastafari House of Thugs. I got my own Rasta ideology that I'm finna release probably next year when I finish this book. I got my own branch of Rasta. It's called Rastafari House of Thugs. How I came up with that is when I would be in LA or I'd be around a lot of Rastas, right? When we make our crowns, you see red, gold, and green with the red on the bottom, red, gold, and green, that was 12 tribe of Israel. The Nyabingi order, they did green, gold, and red. They put the red at the top because they say in Ethiopia, when we go to war, we turn the flag upside down and the red be on the top. So me being a Black American, I'm around these Africans born in Jamaica. Some got the red on the bottom, some got the red on the top. Well, I'm not an African born in Jamaica. I'm an African born in America, in Chicago. So I felt like I shouldn't pick a side. So I would get my crowns made red, gold, green, and then green, gold, red. I would have both flags. I would have the 12 tribe flag and the Nyabingi flag. Because I feel like I'm not from there. How can I be something that I'm not from? I can't be no 12 tribe. I'm not from Jamaica. I can't be no Nyabingi. So I made up my own stuff. I put both of them. All my crowns would be red, gold, green, and then green, gold, red. So I got the Nyabingi and the 12 tribe. And then I came up with Rastafari House of Thugs. Because Bob Marley had a song. No sun will shine in my day today. Bright yellow moon won't come out to play. Yeah, that song right. Concrete jungle where the living is hardest. Remember Bob Marley's song Concrete Jungle? He talking about the city. He talking about me. So I was like, okay, I got buildings when a lion walking through the buildings. So I said, okay, these people is crooks, they gangsters. So what house am I in? So I'm in the house of thugs. So when people say I say Rastafari house of thugs, I'm not calling Rastas thugs. I'm saying I live in the house of thugs. I'm in America, the house of gangsters. So I'm Rastafari house of thugs. Because Rastas down there don't get tattoos. They don't put earrings in their ear. They don't carry things on them. But you in Jamaica. I'm from Chicago. I ain't no Jamaican-born Rasta. I'm a Chicago-born Rasta. So I got to do it the Chicago way. So this ain't Nyabingi. This ain't 12 Tribe. This Rastafari House of Thugs. So while you there and they down there and they catering to the people in Jamaica and stuff, I'm up here with the GDs and the BDs and the Blackstones and the Four Corner Hustlers and the Crips and the Bloods. I'm they Rasta. Yeah. I'm they Rasta, and they love it. Their brothers love, they know a Black American Rasta. I was big in the county jail because I was a Black American Rasta. Standing on Black American stuff. Being what we is, I can't be no Jamaican. I can't do what Jamaicans do. I ain't never lived, I ain't grew up in Jamaica. I grew up in Chicago. You know what I'm saying? So I made up my own thing. At Rastafari House of Thug, you can have tattoos, you can have earrings, you can carry pistols. They don't believe in gun and all that. Me, I'm in Chicago. It's Rastafari House of Thugs. We surrounded by criminals. The black man in America coming up, they had to compete with the mob. The mob tried to take the numbers from us. The mob tried to take our gambling houses. The mob tried to make us be under them and just want to sell us substances. They wanted us to be the junkies and be the customer. So for Black Americans, we've been fighting against the system. The difference between Black Americans and Africans and Caribbeans is when you're in the Caribbean, the Europeans that run you don't live there. When you're in Africa, the Europeans that run you don't live there. So in Africa, the people that run you, the Europeans, they live in Europe. Then they pay your leaders to run you so they control you from a distance. In Jamaica, the Queen and Britain pay your leaders to run you. So you have Black leaders that's bought and paid for by the Europeans, but they don't live there. So you got to fight your own brothers and sisters, and your leaders, the people that's telling y'all what to do, don't live there. The Europeans control you from a distance. But we from America. And the Europeans here is right here where we at. Trump ain't in no other country. Biden ain't in no other country. The Congress and the Senate, they right here. When the British control Jamaica, they control them from Britain. When the French control Haiti, they control them from France. But when this European control us, he control us right here. So we face to face with the oppressor. So we a little more rough around the edges. Because we ain't going. We ain't going. Trump ain't gonna do nothing. I see he trying to bring them South Africans over here. I don't know what he's gonna bring them over here for. They got a big surprise coming. I can't wait till I meet one so I can explain to him, you know you ain't in South Africa, right? You know we do you dirty, right? Well, you ain't in South Africa. You know where you at? You in South Side Chicago. I don't know what y'all was doing over there. I don't know how they was dealing with you in Africa. They got a big awakening to come when they get over here with us. We bogus. We the worst ones. You understand? Yeah, I had to make something for Black Americans and bring black and be here to represent for them. So that's why I didn't go to Africa. I was in Hawaii. I was on my way to Africa. I was on my way to Africa. I was gone. I was gonna go to. I was on my way to Africa. I was gone. I've been on my way to Africa. But then my guardian angel came to me one day, and said, "Pharaoh, when you get to Africa, what would you do if you turned on the TV and radio and found out that they had unalived all the Black Americans?" And some people in the West in America, they running so that won't happen to them. But I'm a soldier. So I didn't feel right. I'm not running and leaving Black Americans back here. So I created a whole new philosophy. So instead of the philosophy, I'm going to repatriate to Africa. My philosophy is if Black people do leave here, I'm going to be the last one to get on the plane. I'm going to make sure everybody get on the plane first. Because I'm not trying to go over there and leave y'all over here. So that's a coward. So that's when I started realizing some people talking about going back to Africa. They ain't talking about going back to Africa. They talking about running. You running like a little B word. But I ain't finna run to no damn Africa and run from nobody that's flying over me that can chase me over there. You can run, but you can't hide. So I'm not finna run to Africa. We're gonna do this. Let's do it. So don't come to me like, Pharaoh, you better leave Africa. They gonna get you. They gonna get you, punk. They gonna get got over here with us. We ain't running nowhere. And we 50 million strong. So they can play if they want to. Trump gonna get them messed up. We ain't even the ones. We the worst ones. Let me ask you something. If there's a God that love you and you go into captivity and that God got control who go where, who would that God send into the belly of the beast? The revolutionaries are the most revolutionaries. So Black Americans, we the worst ones. We the ones for the smoke. That's why we here. You not for the smoke. That's why you where you at. But for the Most High sent us here, that's because we built for this. So don't be over in Africa crying for me because you not like me. That's why you ain't get sent on this mission. You not hard like that. You not hard like us. We the hardest. That's why we here. Because the Most High never give you more than you can bear. So we the match for this dude over here. He can play if he want to. He cannot do nothing to us. We not the Palestinians. We would have never did nothing sloppy like that. They ain't us. They soft. The Black man in America, we the hardest, most dangerous person on the planet. We built all this. Because when a man go and conquer you, he gonna capture the soldiers. He gonna capture the best fighters. He gonna capture the best farmers. He gonna capture the best scientists. He gonna lead the dummies. No disrespect. But this is war. And when a man war, he gonna come take the strongest to make sure that you can't get back together and do nothing. But he made a mistake because he brought the top soldiers over here. What you mean it don't matter? I don't know what you're talking about. So I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking. Oh, you behind. So you behind. Well, you think how you want to think, and I think how I want to think. That's why it's called Pharaoh said that. Jada looking weak. I don't care nothing about Jada. Jada looking weak. I ain't got no problem with Jada. I'm talking to this brother. But Jada, Fat Joe ain't helping Jada, no matter what you say. Fat Joe is damaging Jada's reputation. You know what I'm saying? So that's how all these philosophies got built. I'm out in the middle of Hawaii, on a mountain, in the middle of nowhere, and planes is flying over my head. Now I got the concept to go to Africa to get away from Babylon, right? So when I'm in the mountain, in the middle of the South Pacific, in the middle of nowhere, on a mountain by the volcano, on an island that ain't got no lot of population, and the planes flying over me, do I got the concept I could get away from them? So that's how my concept that I could get away from them went away. Because I'm in the mountains in the middle of nowhere and they flying over my head. So I said, Pharaoh, you can't get away from them. They already in the sky. That's where that concept came from. They already in the sky. So where am I going? You just got to face it. Then I start thinking, if they get me separated, they can just blow me up. They can't blow me up if I'm standing right next to you. If I'm standing right next to you, can you throw a grenade at me? No, because you're standing right there. But if I'm over there, you can throw the grenade over there, right? So when people got missiles and bombs, should you separate from them or should you stay up close to them? You tell me. If people got bombs and missiles, should you separate yourself where they can shoot the missile over there, or should you stay right close to them where they can't shoot no missile? You tell me. Would you throw a grenade at me if I was standing right next to you? No, you're going to try to get me to go over there so you can throw it over there and blow me up over there. So that's why we need to stay up close to this dude. Once they put the Palestinians over there and they was over here, what they do to the Palestinians? Once they had them over there, they blew them up. Because they was over there and they was over there. So I'm not doing segregation. No, I stay close. Keep your friends close and keep your enemies closer. So once I think they was in the air, look, that's where I was living at. I'm on the mountain in the middle of nowhere. Don't look like a little middle of nowhere. Now, if you was out there on your way to Africa to get away from there, and it was helicopters and planes flying over you every day, would you still believe you could get away? You'd be like, oh, man, I'm tripping. I can't get away from them. They in the sky. How you going to get away from somebody that's in the sky, that's in helicopters, that's in planes, that's on rocket ships, that's on satellites? How you going to get away from them? So if you go into Africa to get away, good luck with that. That's why I don't got no faith in Africa like that, because they can fly over Africa and do whatever they want to do to them. They got no army, no continental army. They have no navy, so they can just come up on the water and do it. And they got no air force. And as long as Africa ain't got no air force, they butt naked. Africa butt naked, they ain't got no air force. That concepts came naturally from the way I was living. You know what I'm saying? Africa, the motherland. Africa, if Africa's our mother, she's a crackhead because she don't take care of her kids. Because what kind of mama got her kids all over the world? So she ain't no good mother. Yeah. Africa not a good mother. She ain't been good to Black Americans or Jamaicans or none of us. She's a horrible mother. She need to get her kids. I'm glad my real mother ain't like Africa. I'm glad my mother kept me. So if Africa's my mother, somebody need to call Department of Children Family Services on. somebody need to call the Department of Children and Family Services on Africa because she's a horrible mother. Because we was over here 300 years being lynched and beat and everything. And where was mama at? Mama punk ass never came to get me. Let me tell you something. How you want me to respect the Africa that didn't come and try to get us? All them black people. All them black, black Americans, did any black men in Africa get ships and come to try to save us? Yes or no? And this was before this man had all these weapons. This man didn't even have all these weapons. He just had little guns and cannons. They could have beat him. Did Africans put ships together and come over here to save us? Did Africans come to save us? Africans didn't come over here until they seen we made it. Africans sit back and chalked us off as gone. And it wasn't until they turned on the TV and seen Muhammad Ali and Aretha Franklin and Diana Ross and said, oh, they made it. Oh, they survived. Oh, they made it. Oh, I'm going to America. And then they started coming in the 70s. They ain't even come in the 60s when we was fighting for civil rights. They waited until we won and got good jobs and started having homes and family. Then they ran over it. That's when the Africans showed up. If you look at when the black immigrants came over, they came over here when the coast was clear. They didn't come with no smoke. They came after they seen we survived and then come over here hating and stealing and want jobs and stuff, but we the ones made the jobs available. That's why Tyreek and them be calling them tethers, because now you're trying to tether to us, but where was you when it was smoke? You punked out. Now here you come. Where was you when they was mistreating my grandmama and my daddy? Where was you African? Why y'all didn't go help the brothers and sisters in Trinidad? Why y'all didn't go help the brothers and sisters in St. Croix, the Virgin Islands? Why y'all didn't go help the brothers and sisters in Jamaica? Why y'all didn't go help the brothers and sisters in Africa? Why y'all didn't go help the brothers and sisters in Brazil? But soon as we get it popping, now you show up and you come hating, a lot of you. I don't care nothing about Africa, no motherland. That ain't my mama. I don't want no mama like that. I don't even know her ass. How the kids got to go chase the mama. The kids got to go find the mama. And the mama know where the kids at. And you telling me, Africa, my mother, I'm the child of Africa, and I got to go find the mama. What kind of mama is that? Why she ain't come find me? I think that's a legitimate question. I'm not trying to go to Africa and look for no friends anyway. I'm trying to go to Africa. I'm going to be on dummy. So that's why I want to go. Because if me and the team go to Africa, we're not going to play with Africans. They're going to get down or lay down. I'm not going, I don't want to go to Africa playing with them. I want to go to Africa playing with Africans. Period. Where my land at? Where my stuff I had before I left? Because I had stuff before I left. If you're trying to say I was an African, that punk in Ghana, talking about we can come back home. Well, if it's home, where my house was at? How much land he gave them? Nothing. You're going to say, I'm from Africa, right? You want me to come back for Africa, you say it's home. I get back to Africa. You say the Africans there get a 100-year lease. I only get a 50-year lease. Well, how I'm home when I get a different arrangement? If I'm back home, I'm supposed to get the same thing you get. But no, you telling me to come back, but then you giving me a different deal, but you telling me we brothers and sisters. But then I go back and you give me a different deal. Over in Africa, you know they charge one price for Africans and another price for expats. You know that, right? You know if you ain't from Africa, they charge you more than they charge the people from Africa. You do know that, right? If you buy a plate, it's one price for them. It's a higher price for you. Y'all know that? Ask somebody. They got two. That's the only place I ever heard of do that. They got two prices. One for the people from there and one for us. Our price is higher for everything. So you telling me why we shouldn't go over there and rob them? I ain't going no Africa. I got love for Kiss. Kiss trying to get a bag. I got love for Jada Kiss. So I'm not saying Kiss shouldn't have did the show. I'm just saying Fat Joe making Kiss look bad. Because he's saying stuff and you there with him. And so it's diminishing you. You know, anytime, you know, you don't stand close to a fool because you start looking like one too. So I'm not trying to disrespect Kiss. I'm saying it's not a good look for Kiss. He shouldn't have messed with Fat Joe. Fat Joe is an idiot. This is not a good look for Kiss. You can see Kiss trying to keep Joe in line. And Joe keep crashing out. You can look at Kiss sitting back a lot. When Joe went on that rant, Kiss wasn't saying nothing. I know what Kiss was thinking. Ugh. It's a part where he said something, he was talking to Joe, but Joe didn't hear him. I need to go back and listen to it. He said something to Joe. He said something that he was referring to Joe, but Joe didn't pick up on it. For real, go back and watch it. He said something. I forgot what he said. But when Joe was doing all that, Kiss said something like, and then you should just sit back. He said something like, you should just sit back. I forgot what it was. I said, ooh, he trying to give him a thing. But Fat Joe, you can see how he was all out his body. He was really stunting on Kiss like this my show too. He wasn't dealing with the show one-on-one. He wasn't. Fat Joe was making it like it's him and Kiss. I don't even like the name of the show. I don't like the name of the show, Joe and Jada. It's supposed to be Jada and Joe. Why is it Joe and Jada? So I don't like Fat Joe. I don't like him. And I had some of those people talk crazy, but this Chicago, this is not New York. So we're not doing none of that. This the rat. I don't care nothing about Fat Joe. If Fat Joe would have been my enemy, this would have been got taken care of because he'd been down here a few times, but I wasn't on that. No, what sound better is Jada and Styles. Joe, sit him down. He's washed. Stop trying to re-resurrect him. I don't know what Rock Nation doing. It's probably because the girl is Perez and she is Hispanic, so she looking out for Joe. You know, Jay-Z partner is the snitch chick, the Hispanic snitch. So that's probably how he getting on through her. What's her name? Perez. She the one helping Joe. The snitch over there at Rock Nation. The one that told on everybody. Because Jay-Z wouldn't be behind this. Jay-Z ain't behind this. She the one behind this. No, Jada should just quit and leave. They don't need to do no podcast. He already got the coffee. He should be working on the coffee. This is going to damage the coffee brand. Yeah, Desiree Perez. You thought women could not be snitches? Who told you that? A snitch is a snitch. A snitch don't aim by sex. If you tell, you snitching. If you with me and we slinging and you get caught and you told, you a snitch, whether you're a woman or a man. Who told you women can't be snitches? Somebody actually told you that, Ashley? You don't know what a snitch is then, huh? Because you think a snitch is somebody to tell. That ain't got nothing to do with your sex. If you working with some dudes doing something illegal and you tell, you a snitch. You thought women couldn't be no snitches. Where'd you get that from? I ain't never heard of that. I ain't never heard women can't be no snitches. Women been snitching. She thought women couldn't be no snitches. I know, that's how crazy, huh? That sound crazy. Don't that sound crazy? I'm trying to figure out where she get that. Who told you that? You must have thought that on your own, because I know ain't nobody told you nothing like that. A snitch is not male or female. Snitch is a snitch. A snitch is somebody to tell on somebody else so they don't get in trouble. It's like you and your sister playing and you break your mama's vase and you put it back together and she don't know in a couple of days she touch it and it fall apart. And she said, who broke my vase? And none of y'all say nothing. So the next week your sister get in trouble. And then your sister tell your mama, but Michael broke your vase. That's a snitch. I ain't said nothing like that, lady. You sound crazy. She said, I said it on the Meech video that a woman can't be no snitch. Y'all believe some of these people? A lot of times when you're talking to these people, they got selective hearing. They don't listen well. And they don't know what you said. Because ain't nobody in their right mind going to say a woman can't be no snitch. They don't even... What? Don't be putting words in my mouth saying, show me where I said it at. You got to show me that. See, this is the thing. This is how people get violations when they make claims. You have to prove that. You can't say, well, you said it one time. You got to show me that. You say, I should say, you said it in the video. Okay, show it to me. Tell me the video. Go find it. And tell me what number to go to watch it. And I guarantee you, I didn't say that. Anybody could be a snitch. If I'm hustling with my wife and she go out and do some other crime, shoplifting or something, get caught, and they tell her you're going to do 3 years, and then she say, if I give you somebody, can I get free? I say, yes, and my husband be selling that stuff. That's a snitch. So you ain't really making a whole lot of sense. Now you trying to lie on me, I said something crazy like that. No, you don't listen well, Ashley. That's what's really, you don't listen. Whatever I said, you didn't comprehend it. Sounds more right to me that you took something I said out of context. Because anybody could snitch. Even children. My mother used to call it tattletale. So sometimes it get to the point where every time I do something, my sister will tell my mom, he doing it again, mama. He did this, mama. And my mom would say, come here, girl. Stop being a tattletale. See, the old school black parents, they ain't like when you was just a tattletale. Nobody likes a rat or a snitch. Nobody likes a snitch. Nobody. So for me to say that women can't snitch, that sounds crazy. Ain't never heard that before in my life. Like you just making stuff up. A woman can't snitch. Boy, I ain't never said nothing like that. Stop. You said it in a video before. No, you don't listen. Well, but I got love for you though. But I ain't say that, Ashley. I ain't never said there no cases where anybody can't snitch. Because kids can snitch. You tell a joke and everybody laugh and the teacher turn around. Who did that? And one of the kids pointed at you. That's snitching. And it could be a girl or boy. Anybody that points you out is snitching. The teacher don't know who did it. All everybody got to do is just be quiet. You behind me pointing. That's a snitch. I used to go to school with a dude. We'd be telling jokes in the back. And I'm in the back of class. I'm telling a joke, and he laugh out real loud. And he looking at me while he laughing. And so the teacher put me out the class. And he did that on purpose. Bro, why is you laughing louder than the joke and directed at me, trying to get me in trouble? So after that, it was really kind of funky for him. He came this close. But I was like, dude, don't sit around me no more. I mean, I never dealt with him no more after that. Like, look at this rat. Bro, you did that, you got me in trouble on purpose. Because what I said wasn't even that funny. See, you have people around you be haters trying to pretend they like you. But they going to show their hand. And he showed his hand. He didn't like me. So he's trying to slick way to get me in trouble. Not knowing that trouble don't mean nothing to me. You just wasting time. If I want to, I'll be back in class. I could have really got on this bumper. Yeah, snitching. That follow you forever. Because if I meet him right now and I happen to go to a class event and he there, he be like, what's up, man? Like, who is you? I'm so-and-so. Yeah, you the dude was pointing at me laughing like a little B word. I told him that right now. I should have whooped you back then. Anyway, boy, get away from me. That's what I tell him. Man, get away from me. I can't trust you. I don't want to talk to you. He's like, man, that was a long time ago. Well, it ain't going to be no long time ago. If you don't get away from me, it's going to be in a minute. Get away from me, man. I ain't looking for no friends, especially no phony. Bro, you ain't changed none. A snake don't just turn into no dove. You a snake. You gonna always be a snake. So that's what's up with that. Fat Joe, what a dummy. That show not gonna last. That show gonna be canceled, just like all his other projects. Everything he tried to do, it get canceled. Because he just not a person you want to watch. He's too abrasive. Who gonna want to watch him? It's one thing like me, I'm here to talk to the audience, but if I'm just on somewhere and I'm just talking, there's no need for me to be doing all that extra stuff. Just have an intelligent conversation and end the show. Now, live streaming is different because you got the chat. It's a whole different monster. And you have people come in the chat, saying stupid stuff in the chat, misdirecting the audience, distracting the audience, wanting to be seen. So people are getting in the chat, trying to take the attention off of me while I'm talking, try to put the attention on themselves, and don't think I know what they're doing. Just come and say some, like, look at me, y'all. Look at all this crazy stuff I'm typing. So I'd be like, come back tomorrow. Block them. Sometimes I disrespect them. Because people say, why you disrespect them like that? Because anything you do on the internet that you wouldn't do in real life, I don't respect that. When you're coming over here doing some stuff that you ain't going to do you know, you doing it because you're on the internet. In real life, face to face, you ain't gonna do that. I'm the same person like this. You don't see me going around disrespect nobody on this internet. I don't bother nobody. I don't be going in no chats. You ain't gonna see me going in no chats, going in no comments. Because I don't do that in real life. I don't troll people in real life. I don't make crazy comments. I don't question your point of view. So when I'm on my social media and somebody types something, I don't go on there. That don't make no sense. Ain't none of my business what they put. So I don't make no comments on other people's opinions that they post on their social media. Who am I supposed to be? The social media police? So I don't try to look for everything I disagree with. I just stand on what I'm standing on. But I don't be trying to look to stand against nobody. If you don't stand on something, stand on what you stand on. Go on your social media and stand on it. But don't be trolling, trying to stand against somebody. All your whole social media life is standing against somebody. Then we go look at your social media. You ain't standing on nothing. You just against. You run around looking for stuff you don't agree with. Who does that? If you make a comment on your social media and I make a comment, a slight disagreement, for one, it's going to be a slight disagreement. And for two, that means I mess with you. And I'm stimulating your social media because I only comment on accounts of people I like. So I got to have a lot of respect for you for me to tell my opinion. Like I said something on JT page because he was talking about the Africans coming over here, and I went and said they don't even mess with us. But I did that because I respect them. Because I don't be commenting on this page. I only commented on his page. I barely comment on anybody's page. I comment on Red Pill's page. Red though, I go on Red's page and kick stuff off. But maybe once every 2 years, Red will say something. I go over there and say something. Because I mess with Red. But if I don't really mess with you, I'm not going to even give a different point. But even when I give a different point of view, I give it in a way where it ain't disrespecting you. It's clearly just I say it in a way where it's clearly just my opinion. It's not me going against the way you look at it. Because it's a way you could say it where you're stating what you think without going against the other person. You're not saying what they're saying is wrong. They just saying this and you say you think that. That's cool. But they don't do it like that. They just don't say they think this. They want to say you wrong. And there's no need to say that. Just say what you think about it. It's a way to do that. Have some diplomacy. But all this challenging back and forth, I'm not really with it. I'm not with challenging back and forth because in the world I come out with this consciousness on the street, you had to have certain credentials to challenge. So we didn't accept your challenge if you wasn't standing on nothing. So if you ain't standing on A, B, C, D, you can't just go to Z and be talking like you on Z. Because now we're going to look at you crazy. So when I was coming up, I'm at your crib and we talk about something and you trying to challenge me, I open up your refrigerator. Why would I listen to you? You're still eating sausages. That's how we used to go. Like before you could debate another scholar, you had to have all your ducks in a row. If you wasn't eating right, we don't want to listen to nothing you talk about because how you so smart over here and so stupid over there? You still eating hot dogs and cow. You eating cow and pig, but you want to debate me. This is how I came up in the game. That you had to have everything together and you had to be on the level of the person you trying to go at. You couldn't be down here and trying to go at somebody, but you don't got nothing together. You got to have your stuff together. Now it could just be anybody. You ain't got to be on nothing. You could be 250 pounds overweight and want to argue with me about something, but ain't even taking care of yourself. See, when I came up in the game, it wasn't no internet. We did it outside, and you had to have yourself together. You couldn't pretend you know something, because once we see you don't know the basics, we conclude you don't know nothing. You just fronting. Because if it was about knowledge, why your refrigerator got all these artificial flavors, artificial preservatives in it? Since you smart, right? Okay, why your refrigerator look like you dumb? So when I came up in the game, it was cage match. It was no hold bar. It wasn't like now. When I came in the game, boy, you had to match your knowledge. You was claiming you had it. You had to reflect that. If you didn't reflect that, you have to shut up. Nobody was gonna listen to you if you didn't have if you wasn't on their level. They don't listen to you in no debate. Now they'll listen to you in just general conversation, but nobody that you ain't challenging in life gonna let you challenge them on no subject because you looking fraudulent. Because you ain't even challenging yourself in real life. You just challenging me, you just clowning. So we're not taking it like you really interested in the conversation. You trying to pick a contest. You trying to pick a contest and try to keep the contest here. But now, if we can't doing the contest, we got to do the whole contest. So when I was coming up, you a black woman, and you got perm in your hair, blonde perm in your hair, and you trying to kick some knowledge. We're going to say, listen, go kick that perm out your head and get some natural hair and shut up talking to me. You don't know nothing. Just like that. Your brain is fried. You got blonde brain. Your brain got that blonde dye that seeped in your head. Trying to debate me. That's how we used to go hard. But we not finna listen to you. You don't even wear your natural hair. But you know so much, huh? How you skip over all this other knowledge to know this little piece? Which is what a lot of people doing now. You skipping over a whole bunch of knowledge and try to pick a place to know some knowledge. Well, Pharaoh, I don't know nothing else. I know this little piece though. Let me pick a little piece I can pretend I know. I don't want to stand on knowledge because knowledge is 360 degrees. It's a holistic. Knowledge is holistic. You can't pick a piece. You got to do the whole holistic thing. If you're doing the whole holistic, people that's doing it holistic, they ain't going to listen to you. I remember one time, man, I had changed the way I was eating, and I wasn't eating no pork, no beef, or nothing. I was just eating fish. And so I was just eating fish. So I was at the beach. My teacher, P.T.I., was with me. And I was at the beach telling the brothers, yeah, y'all don't eat right. Yeah, y'all don't this, that. Exactly what I'm telling y'all. That's how I learned. Yeah, y'all don't eat right, man. Y'all need to eat better because I had got off everything and I was on fish. So I was feeling myself. So I'm talking down to everybody else because I only eat fish. So my teacher, we walking on from the beach. And he said, yeah, a lot of people, they be talking like they know stuff, but they still got dead bodies in the freezer. That's what he said. I was like, I knew he was talking about me. He said, yeah, a lot of brothers be out here talking like they know stuff and stuff, but they still got dead bodies in the freezer. He said, brothers be out talking about they eat right and all that, but they got dead bodies. He didn't say fish because a lot of people think fish ain't meat. So he didn't say meat. He said a lot of brothers act like they got knowledge, but they got dead bodies in the refrigerator. That stuff stuck me like a knife. Oh, I ain't on nothing. I was like, I thought I ain't even on nothing. Dang. I went home, threw all my fish in the garbage. 2 days later, I had to go back and buy some more fish. That's why I got the easiest way to become a vegan. Don't go throw all your food in the garbage. Buy my manual. so you don't throw all your food in the garbage. Go buy my manual. Don't go throw all your food, because I threw all that fish in the thing, and 3 days later, I was back, had to buy some more fish, because I couldn't quit like that. I can't stop eating this like that. I got to work on this. I can't just stop eating fish, bro. So that humbled me right now. I'm talking crazy, and I can't even get off fish. So I threw it all away. Oh, no, I threw it away. 3 days later, I was back at McDonald's. Let me get a fish fillet sandwich and fry. I'm back at Doc's. Let me get a fish wish. So I'm like, okay, shut up, Pharaoh. Get yourself together. Get yourself together. You can't act like a captain when you're a private. You can't act like a general when you're a sergeant. You can't act like a general when you're a lieutenant. If you're a lieutenant, act like a lieutenant. I was trying to act like a general when I'm like a sergeant or lieutenant, a captain. I wasn't no general, but I was talking like general. I can't say nothing about nobody. I got myself together. Do I eat sugar? Nah, man, I ain't ate no. You mean white sugar? No. Bro, I don't buy sugar. I don't. Listen, serve drop. We don't buy that stuff, so that's why we can't eat it. I never buy sugar. The only way I can eat sugar is buy it. And I don't buy products that got sugar in it. Like, I don't eat, because most products that got sugar in it got dairy in it. So donuts ain't just got sugar. Donuts got milk, eggs, and sugar. So most things that got white sugar got a whole bunch of stuff we don't eat in it. I eat cane sugar. I eat 100%. I'll drink something got 100% cane sugar, because sugar not bad for you. Too much sugar is bad for you. But cane sugar is all right. But like my drink, this is sweet with maple syrup. I be using maple syrup or guava. I don't be using sugar. Sugar's too heavy and it'll lump up. But I do buy products have a little cane sugar in it. Cane sugar's fine. But I don't eat sugar, I don't buy sugar. Yeah, I ain't ate no white sugar. Probably since I was in the county jail. It was probably in my cookies and stuff like that, because I was a POW. But on my own, no, I ain't ate no white sugar on my own since probably 1977, probably. Because I've been plant-based for 47 years. I ain't ate, you know what I'm saying? I ain't ate no stuff like that in almost 50 years. In 3 more years, it'd be 50 years. I changed the way I ate when I turned 20. So when I turned 50, and when I turned 70, that'll be 50 years. You know what I'm saying? Oh, no, I don't eat no white sugar. White sugar, oh, hell no. I don't eat none of these snacks. I don't eat no Babylon snacks. Last time I ate Babylon snacks, because I was in the county jail, I was a POW, then it didn't count. But here go the thing, Sir Drop. I was in the county jail. I'm eating cookies. I'm drinking cow milk with cereal. I'm eating egg sandwiches. But because I really know, right? I ate Impossible Burgers before. I just don't like Impossible Burgers. They got too much estrogen in them. But I ate Impossible Burgers. I had the Impossible Whopper. Yeah, I ate that. I ate Impossible Burgers. I ate Beyond Burgers and stuff. Ain't gonna do nothing to you. But Impossible Burger, I didn't like it. I like the Beyond Burger. I don't like it now. They changed it. But they did make a new one with olive oil. It's all right. I buy it every now and then. I probably eat about 8 Beyond Burgers all year, maybe 10 out of 365 days. But y'all eat an Impossible Burger. It ain't gonna do nothing to you. Those things ain't gonna do nothing to you. It's see, this food ain't gonna do nothing to you, born wisdom. Allah. The reason eggs ain't no good for you, because you eat them all the time. Eggs, milk, all the time. All your stuff got dairy in it. So what's making you sick is not that you ate it once. What's making you sick is this food is a constant part of your everyday diet. 5 years old, 6 years old, 7 years old, 8 years old, 9 years old, 10 years old, 11, 12, 30, then 40, then 50. It's the same. You eating chicken. You know what I'm saying? And they brainwash you. Baba TV, salute. You're always doing good work, bro. So it's like you eating chicken, but you don't know it. Because today you eating chicken Alfredo. Tomorrow you eating a chicken sandwich. 2 days later you eating fried chicken. So you're not really paying attention to how much chicken you eating. But you constantly eating beef, pork, beef, chicken, pork, beef, chicken, pork, beef, chicken every day. Every day, dairy products, every day. This is what's killing you. It's the daily. And so because in my mind, see, I already don't believe it's no good for me. So when I went to the county jail and I was eating potato chips and I was eating cookies and I was eating egg sandwiches and stuff, it didn't do nothing to me because as soon as I got out, I didn't eat it no more. Because I don't want it. It ain't got nothing to do with like it. I don't like it because it's not healthy. So when I'm in there eating it, I'm not happy I'm eating it. I'm pissed that I'm eating it because I'm eating it because I'm in jail. And being in jail ain't cool. So I can't act like eating this food is cool when I'm a POW and I'm forced to eat it. So it wasn't like when I get out, is it hard to not eat it? No, I couldn't wait to get outside to eat that trash. Because it's really trash to me. As long as you forcing yourself not to eat it, you're not cured. I'm not forcing myself to be plant-based. I'm really plant-based. And when you're forcing yourself to do it, you're forcing yourself to do it because you don't believe it's poison. So the only way you're going to eat right, you have to really believe it'll kill you. If you try to change the way you eat, but you don't really believe this is dangerous, you don't really believe this will give you diabetes, you don't really believe this will clog your arteries, you don't really believe this will clog up your colon, that's why you keep eating it, because you really don't believe it'll hurt you. But once you know this going to hurt you, and you know you don't want to die, and you know you don't want to be going to the doctor, and you know you don't want to be going to Walgreens taking medicine, you ain't going to mess with it. So when you're trying to change the way you eat without really believing that what you eat is no good, you can't do it. But when you know it's no good, even when you eating it, I'm in jail, I'm eating egg sandwiches, I'm like, dang, I can't wait to get out of here. I'm eating this trash. It's trash. It's not like, oh, good, it's an egg. No, it's like trash. I can't wait till I get out and get some good bread and stuff like that. I'm not eating this trash. So it's not like I had to get out and try to make myself stop eating the garbage. It was really garbage to me. But I was a POW. When you're a prisoner of war, you do what you do to survive. So I ate everything. I just didn't eat no meat. I ate everything in jail except meat. Cheese sandwiches with mayonnaise, all that. But I didn't never eat no meat still. When I got out, I was with some of the guys on the west side, guys on the south side that was locked up with me, and we somewhere, and they said, I'm finna go and get some chicken. Pharaoh, you want something? They be like, man, Pharaoh don't eat no meat. I was locked up with him, boy. He don't eat no meat. I said, all the guys know Pharaoh don't eat no meat. I used to give it to the brothers. Hey, man, you want this? So when I get my plate, like when I would get my plate, there'd be some meat on there. I would look and say you was real big and you worked out all the time. And you Big Larry. I say, Big Larry. Like, what up, Pharaoh? Come here, man. Hey, man, you want this meat? Man, yeah. I said, I know you working out like crazy. You need this. He's like, man, love, Pharaoh. But if Big Larry come the next day and say, Pharaoh, can I get that meat? I'll be like, no. Because you still got to keep it gangster in there. Because if he come back and he asks you, can you have it? You give it to him. Now you're a sucker. So if they ever come and ask me for it, I say, no. I give it to Kenny this time. Kenny, you want this? I'd always give it to a different brother. Because if they think you're a punk, they're going to run over you. So now you can't have it. You got to be a gangster. If you ain't no gangster, don't go to jail, don't go to prison. You got to really be a gangster. You can't pretend you no gangster. You can't pretend you that. You really got to be that. Can't pretend. So I would never give it to the same dude. I give it to who I want to give it to. But I always would give it to the brothers that's working out and shit like that. They starving in here. They really want this chicken. In return, when they would have breakfast in the morning and I would go get my breakfast and make my egg sandwiches, all the trays left, they would call me, Pharaoh, come on and get these eggs, bro. They had me come get the eggs or the vegetables and all that. Everybody give me their vegetables because I'm always giving them my stuff. So everybody was looking out for me and give me, because they know I don't eat no meat. 4 months there, I ain't no meat. Even when they give you stuff, it'd be little bacon bits in there. I'm in there picking the bacon bits out. I might have got crumbs from it, but I'm picking the bacon bits out so I can eat. But boy, I love Thanksgiving when Thanksgiving came because some old ladies would come and cook like a Thanksgiving dinner. So I could get some mashed potatoes, I could get some sweet potatoes, I could get some string beans, some black-eyed peas, some dressing. Something like it was close to real food. It wasn't all the way there, but it was like a lot of vegetables. Cranberries, I was so happy. Oh, man. This is the best meal I had in months. And I was still growing up. As long as you go into the gym, and that's when I learned about vitamins. You know, my nails started breaking. I remember I told you my nails was growing. They started breaking. I had to cut them off. But they got long since I've been taking the vitamins. They got long as they ever been. But that's when I learned about vitamins because I was getting a lot of money on my commissary because I was a boss in the street. So my queen, my wife, she was sending me $50 every commissary. Some brothers don't get none on commissary. The max you can get is 50. So every Thursday I'm getting $50. So I'm going to the store. I'm buying a whole bunch of stuff. So I'm taking 2 vitamins every day. So when we doing our workouts, man, I was getting bigger and bigger. And I said, oh, these vitamins is popping. And no sex and no woman, yeah, you get strong as hell. I was strong when I got out of there. Brothers get out of there, their skin be smooth, they be strong, because all you can do is wash your face and brush your teeth all day and do push-ups. So all you can do is healthcare. You can't do nothing else. As soon as I got back, I cleaned up the way I ate. I met my queen that I had my children with. I was married to 20-something years. I met her, and she was like regular. But you know, her parents, her mom and them growing up, they used to cook a lot of greens and all that. So she would cook a lot of vegetables. So I was eating that and still like a little bit of dairy. And then I was just off of it. Because now I can go get my own food. But she started making the food, making mine separate so it wouldn't have nothing in it. So she like, yo, here, Pharaoh, your sweet potatoes over there, they don't got no butter on it or nothing. You know what I'm saying? So she got a big pot of sweet potatoes. She got a little pot of sweet potatoes for me and ain't got all that stuff on it. She vegan now. She turned vegan just from being around me and tasting my food. It's going to keep her looking young a long time. I be giving women the gift they keep on giving. That's why they be loving me forever. Because if you're a regular dude, you can't come behind me because you could come behind me, but you ain't gonna bring to the table what I bring to the table. In the long run, you ain't gonna be it. In some cases, you bringing them down. They get to mess with you. They look up 3, 4 years later. They're like, I ain't got with him. I'm going backwards. You ain't bringing nothing to the table. Your security game ain't up. You don't know nothing what's going on. You just a regular N-word. You know what I'm saying? Basically, y'all better eat right because once you get sick, it ain't no joke. Everybody think it's funny till it's not funny. Don't let nobody tell you nothing. Man, eat right. Because none of them going to be there when you get sick. They're going to play it off like it ain't no big deal. You'll see. And I'm 67, so I done seen it. Follow me over at Vegan Intel. And that's the end of this conversation. Now, I don't hate Fat Joe. I just don't deal with him. So I'm not pushing no hate. I just don't deal with him. You know what I'm saying? So look, y'all stay positive. You know what I mean? Stay out of trouble.